Game 40 of 40 is just about to commence from Lowell Park as the Bourne Braves hit the road to square off against the Cotuit Kettleers to put a bow on the Cape Cod baseball regular season and welcome into the Kettleers Digital Network. I'm joined alongside by my broadcast partner, Joe Pratt. I'm Alex Rocco, and Joe, we finally made it, Game 40 of 40. It's been a long season.
It has been such a long season, and these are two teams that have gone through the ebbs and flows of a Cape Cod Baseball League season, and right now the Kettleers hopefully on the tail end of a cold stretch, whereas the Bourne Braves, they're riding high, the hottest team in the Cape Cod Baseball League, 8-1-1 in their last 10. They look exactly the way that they did in the last couple of seasons where they won not one but two Cape League championships, and we got the series finale right here in front of us.
And this is a Bourne team that is firing on all cylinders in the last 10 games, 8-1-1, so not an easy test for the Kettleers that just snapped a 5-game losing streak with a 7-3 victory last night on the road against the Falmouth Commodores.
Yeah, and they really needed that last night. I mean, when you look at where this team was just a couple of days ago, where they hadn't scored any runs at just 9 hits across 20 innings, but then responded by scoring 9 runs in Wareham, and then they were playing from behind early on in that game in Game 1 of the doubleheader yesterday, as they Falmouth Commodores scored 2 runs immediately, so they were playing from behind 3-2, weren't able to win that game, and so you needed to build some momentum knowing that you're playing the hottest team in the league here this afternoon. So for the Kettleers to get that win last night, 7-3, you love to see the offensive output in the second half of that game, and it was enough to win them their 22nd game of the summer.
And you talk about the offensive output. The Kettleers scored 7 runs on 15 hits, and Joe, all 15 hits were singles.
Yeah, and I mean, that's something that we've seen from the Kettleers so far this season is they don't blow you away with doubles. They're tied for 8th in that mark, tied for 7th, just 2 triples, and we haven't seen the home run ball work for the Kettleers in recent days. And so, I mean, to get all those singles and to compile those singles back to back to back to back, that really allowed the offense to jumpstart against the Commodores.
Devin Taylor went 3 for 5 last night. Matt Klein went 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs. Jaron Advincula was a perfect 4 for 4, raising his batting average to a league best 392. And Advincula not getting the start today, but could potentially see him in action coming off the bench. But with the national anthem just moments away, we'll step aside for a quick break here on the Kettleers Digital Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we please direct your attention to field level as we introduce Cotuit Kettleers General Manager Bruce Murphy, who will be presenting the 2 awards for the 2024 Kettleer season. Bruce, take it away.
Just about 5 minutes away from first pitch from Lowell Park between the Bourne Braves and the Cotuit Kettleers, as some pregame festivities are going down at field level, as the Cotuit Kettleers team MVP on offense and on the pitching staff is just about to get announced.
Yeah, right there you see the general manager of the Kettleers, Bruce Murphy, as he addresses the crowd right here, and we'll see what he's got, as he's got a couple of plaques from the league, as he let us know before the game, and giving away some team awards here.
And Tanner Thatch is the recipient of the first award.
The Offensive Team MVP award won by Tanner Thatch, a returner to this roster for the Kettleers. Mike Roberts said at the start of the season that he was so excited to have Tanner Thatch back, continuing to be the anchor of the Kettleers infield, but also continue on what he did this past season at University of North Carolina, Wilmington. And so that is just a result of a lot of hard work put in this spring, but also the past couple summers by Tanner Thatch.
And the winner of the team MVP for pitching goes to none other than Michael Ebner. So Tanner Thatch and Michael Ebner win the team offensive and team pitching MVP respectively, and two deserving winners, guys that have really carried the Kettleers across the entire year. Tanner Thatch hitting .281 with 8 home runs and 25 RBIs coming into today. Michael Ebner started out as a key cog in the Kettleers bullpen and now is transitioning into a starting pitching role.
Yeah, just so great to see those two guys get honored, both guys who have been here all summer, both guys who have played in a lot of games for the Kettleers. And for Mikey Ebner, I mean, that's just got to feel so good for him, somebody who at USC this past season was a really strong pitcher, but had above a 5 ERA and maybe wasn't given the amount of credit that he has been and as a college pitcher, but he has really proved himself this summer in the Cape League, and he has talked a lot about with the Kettleers writers, Shane Patagna mainly, just saying how he's someone who had that underdog mentality going into the summer, and you just need to embrace and know that you're here for a reason, and he clearly is, and very deserving of that award.
Tanner Thatch going back up and getting another award from the league, and talked about it just a moment ago, how deserving Tanner Thatch is. Player who's playing his second season with the Kettleers, and it always felt like coming up in the biggest moments, it was Tanner Thatch. So many clutch hits, so many clutch home runs, and he's just been a key cog right in the top of the order and hitting second today.
Yeah, and it's just so great to see someone who has given a lot to the village, somebody who's always here, nice to fans, a guy who has a great attitude every single day around the ballpark. Doesn't matter who you are, he's always going to greet you and treat you the exact same way, and just somebody who also on the field has been so effective for Cotuit. I mean, 3 homers for them last summer, 8 this year, a guy who is at the top 3 in the league in OPS all season and slugging percentage, and somebody who has manned the first base side of that infield for the Kettleers for now the past 2 summers. And yeah, these are 2 guys who are well deserving of every award that they've gotten and well deserving of all the praise that they've received from head coach Mike Roberts, and we'll definitely be patiently awaiting to hear what Roberts has to say about those guys winning those awards later on today. But we got a 9-inning baseball game to get underway here in just a few moments for the final time in the 2024 regular season.
And that we do, and it's the 5th and final meeting between the Bourne Braves and the Cotuit Kettleers. Cotuit won the first 3 meetings, Bourne taking the last one 8-1 just a couple of days ago back here at Lowell Park. And Joe, this is a big game for Bourne. A lot of postseason implications, these 2 teams. Cotuit locked into the 2nd seed. Bourne sitting currently in 3rd place with a 20-16-3 record. Also watching the score of the Wareham and Falmouth game. Wareham in 4th place with a 21-17-1 record. But a big game for the Bourne Braves, a big game for the Cotuit Kettleers. And Joe, how do the Braves line up?
It'll be Isaiah Jackson in the leadoff spot, getting his 2nd start against the Kettleers out of Arizona State. Cam Kogel bats after him out of Arkansas, and he's in the 2nd slot. David Lewis gets his 1st start against the Kettleers this summer. It's 2 Virginia Tech Hokies at 3 and 4, with Garrett Michelle batting 4th. Tristan Bissetta bats 5th. He's out of Clemson. David Gillespie out of Southern Mississippi. He bats 6th. Blake Barthel is the 2nd baseman today for the Braves. He bats 7th. Mason Neville batting 8th out of Oregon, and John Schroeder gets his 2nd straight start against the Kettleers. He catches and bats 9th.
That's the lineup that will square off against the Kettleers starting pitcher Aiden Hunter, making his 6th appearance and 5th start for Cotuit. As an 0-0 record, 6.08 ERA and 13 1/3 innings pitched, has allowed 17 hits, 11 runs, 9 earned runs. The home run ball has been a problem for the second-year Kettleer, has allowed 3, has walked 7 hitters, and struck out 10.
That'll be the 12th overall appearance for the right-handed pitcher, Aiden Hunter, who throws a fastball, slider, and changeup. And there goes the hat right there, as there are some windy conditions around Lowell Park as well, definitely. And we were talking about that before the game, and you can see that flag in center field blowing straight past the scoreboard. But this is a guy in Aiden Hunter who last year had a 4.7 ERA across 6 regular season appearances for the Kettleers, but that wasn't including a start against the Bourne Braves in the playoffs, where he was able to be effective in that outing. But then after that, of course, the Braves going on to win that ball game and taking a 2-0 series win. So there's an opportunity for these two teams to set up a similar matchup to what we've seen the past couple of summers, where the Bourne Braves will be facing the Kettleers right here on Tuesday. One thing we know for sure, though, Alex, is that we will be here on Tuesday night at 4 p.m. for the first round of the playoffs.
This is the second start for Aiden Hunter against the Bourne Braves. His first came back this season, first came back on July 6th in a game that the Kettleers ended up winning 8-7 in just 5.5 innings. It was a wacky game as Hunter went 2 1/3, gave up just 1 run. Aiden Hunter is ready. Leadoff man Isaiah Jackson's ready. The first pitch taken on the outside corner for ball 1. First pitch was tossed at 4:33 local time. 80 degrees here in the Village. As the 1-0 from the righty Hunter, this one chopped on the ground to the second baseman Nolan Araki, who goes into a dive but can't come up with that ground ball, as Isaiah Jackson tallies a leadoff single, and the Braves have the first hit of the day.
Nolan Araki has already started 26 games at third base for the Kettleers, but gets his first start there this summer. Didn't play that at all at Clemson these past couple of seasons, but did play 1 game at second base for the Martha's Vineyard Sharks last summer. And you know, we've talked about this a couple times already this season, Alex. When a guy's playing a new position, the game has a funny way of finding you, and there you go with the first play.
A pickoff move. Jackson dives back in safely. Batting second is the shortstop, Camden Kojal. Kojal's had a lot of success as of late against the Kettleers. 6 for 15 with 2 RBIs. Went 2 for 4 in their last matchup, as the first pitch to the lefty waved on and missed. 4 strike 1, and here's a look at how Cotuit aligns defensively. Brandon Compton gets the start in left field. Charles Davalon, he mans center field. In right field is Nathan Hall. From third to first is Timo Becerra, Luke Hansen, the aforementioned Nolan Araki, and Tanner Thatch. At first base and getting the start behind the dish is Grant J. Another pickoff move. Jackson dives back in safely. Of course, Aiden Hunter on the mound. Jackson with 4 stolen bases already this season. Through 24 games, takes a lead off first. The 0-1 pitch waved on and missed. So Kojal quickly down in the count, 0-2. Kojal crushed a home run against Aiden Hunter back on July 6th. So home run right in the first inning, where he hit second in that game as well. Hunter misses his spot high and away. Kojal entered the transfer portal earlier this offseason. Transferring to Vanderbilt. It's the 1-2 pitch missing off the plate to the lefty. The Omaha, Nebraska native stands 5'10", 207 pounds. He's gotten on base in 25 of 29 games this season. As Hunter misses his spot once again, as Kojal working a good battle here, just the second at-bat in the game.
This is a Bourne team that has wowed other opponents in this past week or so, as they've outscored teams 36-17 in their last 5.
The 3-2 pitch. This one hit on the ground, back to Naraki at second, goes to short for 1. The relay throw by Hansen, not in time. Kojal legs it out, but Isaiah Jackson thrown out at second for the first out.
Well, So there you go. Nolan Naraki tested again at second, but that was a nice flip there. He set his feet through to second, and from Luke Hansen there was a solid throw across the diamond. Probably didn't need it, but nice to see him getting his third start at shortstop and getting involved pretty early, as he's someone who has fielded the shortstop position perfectly through his first couple of games there.
A pickoff move by Hunter. Kojal dives back in safely. Hunter, making his first appearance at shortstop in game 1 of the doubleheader, was tested early and often in the 7-5 loss against the Commodores, as the first pitch to the third baseman, David Lewis, is in there for strike 1. Got the start at shortstop in game 2. Now making his third consecutive appearance at short is Luke Hansen. The 0-1 on the way. Taken for ball 1. That evens the count up at 1-1. Against David Lewis, who's playing in just his 5th game this summer with the Braves. He's gotten off to a hot start, 4 for 9 with 2 RBIs. Kojal leads off first, the 1-1 on the way. Lewis fouls that away. Back behind home plate, so Aiden Hunter's up in the count 1-2. Hunter coming off of a campaign at Charleston where he made 14 starts, had a 7-1 record, a 3.76 ERA. Only striking out 56 hitters in 76 2/3 innings pitched. The 1-2 on the way to Lewis. Ground ball hits a Hansen at short. He goes to second for 1. The relay throw by Naraki is not in time. Nearly was an inning-ending double play worked by the Kettleers middle infield duo, but David Lewis legs it out and extends the inning.
Nice job though, just to get the first out of the lead runner out and get the second out, and just a good job to get a pair of outs on those ground balls. I know that it's a nice job by these Braves hitters to hustle up the first base line, but that's what happens when you play a team with as good a speed as this, and likely the fastest team in the Cape League, and so there's a reason they lead the league in 81 stolen bases.
81 stolen bases, they're second in walks with 200, so a team that doesn't rely on power as they sit last in the league with just 18 home runs this season. So the count is 0-1 on the left-handed swinging first baseman Garrett Michelle. The 0-1 taken off the plate for ball 1. Michelle this season against the Kettleers, this being his 3rd game played against Cotuit, is 0 for 4 with an RBI, has walked 3 times. As the 1-1, a check swing by Michelle, he goes around. 1-2 is the count on the first baseman, who's hitting .217 this season in 28 games. 3 home runs, 15 RBIs. For Michelle, who returns to Bourne for the 2nd consecutive season. The 1-2 pitch in the dirt, running on the pitch is Lewis. The throw down from Jay is not in time. David Lewis advances into scoring position with 2 outs.
Good pop and throw from Grant Jay, who we've seen his arm be put on display a couple times in the last couple of games, and David Lewis has a stolen bag there, and he picks up his first of the summer and the 82nd stolen bag for the Braves.
The count evened up at 2-2. Hunter glances back at Lewis, now comes home. Taken for ball 3, so Michelle works the count full. As the Braves are extremely patient, showing their discipline early on in this game. 17 pitches for Aiden Hunter, 9 strikes, 8 balls. The payoff pitch, got him swinging. Aiden Hunter fans Garrett Michelle to end the top of the first, stranding David Lewis in scoring position. So we'll step aside for a quick commercial break here on the Kettleers Digital Network, with the Kettleers coming to bat.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
A good start for Aiden Hunter in the top of the first, allowing a leadoff single to Isaiah Jackson, but gets 3 consecutive outs, stranding David Lewis in scoring position. So now it's time for Cotuit to take their first hacks against the left-handed starting pitcher, Kyle Lacalamento. And Joe, how does Mike Roberts' squad line up?
Well, it'll be Brandon Compton in the leadoff spot. The Arizona State left fielder gets his 3rd straight start in the leadoff position, and batting after him, Tanner Thatch and Devin Taylor. That's 1, 2, and 3 in the order, with Charles Davalon batting in the cleanup spot. Nate Hall bats after him. He's the DH today. Shortstop Luke Hansen bats 6th. Timo Becerra after him in the 7th slot. Nolan Naraki bats 8th. And Grant Jay, the catcher, rounds out this order, batting 9th.
So it's 4 consecutive lefties at the top of the order for Mike Roberts and 5 straight righties to end it. So here is Brandon Compton, playing in his 38th game this summer. Batting at a .326 clip, 5 home runs, 29 RBIs. He exploded during the month of July as the first pitch from Kyle Lacalamento finds the strike zone. Lacalamento making his first start as a Bourne Brave. Just the second appearance as he elevates the fastball as Compton waves through it. So 2 quick strikes for the graduate student that attends the University of Houston. His first appearance came back on Wednesday against Wareham, where he went an inning, walked a batter, struck out 1. Brings the fastball up to 92 miles an hour, but can't find the zone against the Kettleer left fielder. Compton went 1 for 4 in the doubleheader, but gets rung up on strikes on just 4 pitches as Kyle Lacalamento dots the bottom part of the strike zone as Brandon Compton goes down on strikes.
Yeah, that's not something you see too often from Brandon Compton, going down on strikes, but he's facing a guy who did that a lot in the MLB Development League to start off his summer, 17 Ks and just over 14 innings.
Had 39 strikeouts this past season in 36 2/3 innings pitched, as the first offering is in there against the left-handed hitting first baseman Tanner Thatch. Thatch has hits in back-to-back games against Southpaws. Now up to 10 hits and 53 at-bats, hitting at a .189 clip with 3 RBIs. The 1-1 on the way. Thatch rockets this one right at the second baseman, Blake Barthel, who goes into a leap and hauls it in for the second out.
Broken bat there from Tanner Thatch, got it off the end of the bat, and it looks like that one splintered down at the bottom of it, right at around the handle, as Thatch will give some information to Charles Davalon, who's now on deck. And I think that's something that's really good to see from a lot of these Cotuit hitters, is the communication within the game, and it seems like Tanner Thatch is always a guy who's harping on that.
2 quick outs for Kyle Lacalamento, who begins the 3rd at-bat against Devin Taylor. The first pitch fastball that misses beneath the knees. Taylor's been on a tear in the month of August. In the first 3 games, hitting 6 for 10 as he fouls the second pitch off back into the parking lot. Did avoid some cars, but Taylor, 6 for 10 in the month of August, a pair of doubles, 2 RBIs, also walked 4 times. As the 1-1 on the way, Taylor hits this one in the right field. Going on the run is Mason Neville, who is making the running grab for the 3rd and final out of the inning, as Taylor hit it a long way, but Neville, tracking it off the bat, hauls it in for the 3rd and final out, as Kyle Lacalamento works a 1-2-3, bottom of the first. As we're through 1 from Lowell Park, Bourne and Cotuit evened up at 0.
Operating on Cape Cod since 1988, Advanced Embroidery has garnered national awards in embroidery and screen printing. They offer screenings on golf shirts, Oxford shirts, jackets, t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, and bags. Advanced Embroidery will print your company's or team's logos anywhere. Thousands of satisfied customers can attest for Advanced Embroidery's attentive customer service, tight quality control, and quick turnaround time. They're open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday on 38 Plant Road in Hyannis.
Beacon Gardens is a full-service garden center right here in Mashpee. They sell a variety of landscaping materials and seasonal produce to both consumers and landscaping professionals around the Barnstable Village. Stop by and see all Beacon Gardens has to offer at 182 West Barnstable Road in Austerville.
The Kettleers baseball clinics are well underway in the summer of 2024, offering boys and girls ages 6 through 17 with the opportunity to learn from some of the most experienced coaches and some of the top college baseball players in the country. With no prior baseball experience necessary, the camps teach kids the fundamentals of baseball, as well as good citizenship, sportsmanship, and character. With just a few weeks of camp left, time is running out. So to sign up, head over to info.collegebaseballcamps.com/CK. Again, that's info.collegebaseballcamps.com/CK. We hope to see you there.
Leading off for the Bourne Braves, number 32, Tristan Becerra, left field, Clemson.
Inning number 2 here from Lowell Park, and a look at the Kettleer first baseman, Tanner Thatch, who picked up a little bit of hardware pregame, won the Kettleers team MVP on offense, and also was named the 2024 Daniel J. Silva Sportsmanship Award. Saw that earlier, and Thatch being a good teammate, helping out Devin Taylor and Charles Davalon with some scouting that he saw against the Bourne starter Kyle Acalamento. Has 2 consecutive balls to begin the second inning for Aiden Hunter against the left fielder Tristan Becerra. Hunter out of the windup, deals the 2-0, looked at for strike 1, and just such an excellent award for Tanner Thatch.
Yeah, I mean, so deserving. Nobody else probably in the league is more deserving than a guy in Tanner Thatch, who really is a great guy. And Mike Roberts talks so much about the guys who are great baseball players, but also great people, great men to know off the field. And Tanner Thatch is one of those guys who constantly engages in the community, loves to be a Kettleer, and it's just great to see him get honored for all the hard work that he's put in here for the past 2 summers now.
Thatch hit .260 in his first season with Cotuit with 3 home runs and exploded in year 2 as the 2-2 taken off the plate against Becerra. 11 home runs as a Kettleer in his 2 seasons, 25 RBIs this year. Playing in 37 of the 40 games for Mike Roberts' squad as the payoff pitch misses the zone as Tristan Becerra works a leadoff walk. So for the second consecutive inning, the Bourne Braves will have the leadoff man on.
Well, that's something that they just do so well. See pitches, second most walks in the league now with 201. They're second in the league in on-base percentage. And then on the other side, too, they don't walk a lot of batters pitching-wise. They strike out a ton. This is an incredibly scary team to face just when you look at them on paper, but also in person when you see the amount of guys who can hit the ball, the amount of guys who can run, play solid defense. And it's a packed left-handed order, too.
Here is the righty Davis Gillespie. First pitch from Hunter, a curveball that's chopped in for strike 1. Going back to Tanner Thatch, playing in 37 of 40 games here in the regular season, and the only 3 games he missed came in the middle of July when he attended a friend's wedding.
And if that just doesn't show you the kind of guy that Tanner Thatch is, I don't know what does.
This one hit on a line, that'll get through in a left field. So back-to-back base runners for the Braves as Davis Gillespie picks up a single.
Well, Davis Gillespie hasn't found too much success against the Kettleers so far this summer. 1 for 12 going into that AB, but now 2 for 13 as he puts that one right through the 5-6 hole, and we get pretty similar infield to what we saw in two of yesterday's games, I should say, and now Nolan Araki, the new man at second. So Mike Roberts trying out a lot of different defensive looks as we get into the playoffs. He's just trying to figure out what might work.
Jaron Advincula getting the day off. As here is the Bourne second baseman, Blake Barthel. It's a rare day off for Jaron Advincula, a guy who always look at the lineup card, always looks like he's in the lineup, has played in 38 games this season, this being game 40. As the first pitch, a bunt attempt, Barthel pulls back, but it misses low. Barthel was in the midst of an 0 for 15 stretch. He blasted a home run against the Kettleers last Friday. As both runners take off, this one hitting the right field. That'll get down for a single. Getting the wave around from third is Tristan Becerra. Following him is Davis Gillespie, who stops at third. So it's an RBI single for Blake Barthel. And just like that, Bourne takes an early 1-0 advantage.
Well, there you go, just compiling hits together one by one, and that's 2 singles after the leadoff walk, and that just shows you the way that they've been able to find so much success getting base runners on base, relying on some of that timely hitting, which is something that they've really struggled with in this season series, but capitalizing on their first few opportunities here, and they have an early 1-0 lead.
Playing ahead is something Bourne did the last time these teams played on July 26 when they captured the 8-1 victory. As the first pitch is in there for strike one against Mason Neville. So on that last single for Barthel, the runner's in motion. Help Davis Gillespie move up to third base. So it's runners on the corners, still no out. The Braves leading the Kettleers 1-0. The second pitch at the top of the strike zone, taken for ball one, evening the count up at 1-1. It's the 9th RBI this season for Blake Barthel, and the 3rd against the Kettleers. Neville 1 for 7 against Cotuit. The 1-1 on the outside corner, taken for ball 2. Neville has struggled mightily this season, however. In 11 games, just 3 for 30. Hitting 100, just 1 RBI. Hunter can't seem to find the zone as he falls behind the right fielder. 3-1 in the count. Hunter breezed through that first inning. Allowed a leadoff single to Isaiah Jackson, then worked a pair of groundouts, then ended the frame with a swinging strikeout against Garrett Michelle. The 3-1 to Neville, taken for ball 4. So Bourne loads the bases, still with no outs here in the second. Joe, usually it's the first inning that plagues Cotuit. Now it's the second.
And they've really struggled to get the first leads in this season series, too. Just one game they've been able to score the first run. One thing is similar, the team that has the lead after the 5th inning goes on to win the game in each of the first 4 games of this season series. And so Mike Roberts, knowing how important it is to get a hot start against this team, you don't want to be playing from behind by 3, 4, 5 runs even. So there is a right-hander who just grabbed a baseball in the Kettleers bullpen right now. He starts to have a couple of tosses as Mike Roberts will talk things over with Hunter and Grant J. And this is a battery mate that has continued to build their relationship, as Aiden Hunter is just one of 2 pitchers on this roster who was here back in June, but he was activated on June 28th, so still he wasn't even able to have too much time with this team in June, but still the second longest tenured player on this team in the year of 2024, but also a guy who's returning from last year, so you know that he has a solid relationship with Mike Roberts, and hopefully they're able to figure things out here with nobody gone, and now the base is juiced in the second.
And this is just the second start for Aiden Hunter since July 18th. How much of a factor do you think that is?
Well, it's something that we've seen from these pitchers who take a long time off after their college seasons and struggle through their first couple of appearances, and so I think it kind of breaks you out of your rhythm a little bit. Of course, this bullpen was going through a lot of things in the past week, and Aiden Hunter was taken out of a start or two, we'll see, because of some rainouts and inclement weather, so he's got to find a way to settle in here.
Settles in nicely with a first pitch strike that's looked at by the catcher, John Schroeder, sitting 9th in the Bourne order. The 0-1 from Hunter. Dotted in there for strike 2. So after the mound visit, 2 quick strikes worked by the Kettleers starter, Aiden Hunter. Gillespie leads off third, Barthel off second, Neville off first. The 0-2 pitch on the way. This one crushed to deep right field. Looking up is Nathan Hall. If it's fair, it's gone. And it's gone. A nuke off the bat of John Schroeder, his first home run this summer, and with one swing of the bat, Schroeder clears the bases as he wallops a grand slam, and Bourne now leads 5-0.
No better way to get your first home run of the summer for John Schroeder, as that one travels 402 feet off the bat, 99 miles an hour, and that one clearing the road bullpen by a good margin, and that's really not the start that you were looking for the Kettleers, as Aiden Hunter continues to try to find the first out of this inning.
Hunter had the count 0-2 against Schroeder, just left the pitch right down the heart of the plate. Schroeder made no mistake, crushing it 402 feet deep to right field, as the Braves now have a 5-0 lead. As we head back to the top of the order, here's Isaiah Jackson. Count evened up at 1-1. Jackson's 1 for 1 today. Led off the game with a single. 4 hits early on for Bourne. It was home run number 19 for the Braves this season. A slow chopper to Naraki at second. Gloves it, makes the underhand flip in time for a much-needed first out of the inning for Aiden Hunter.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a demoralizing moment for Aiden Hunter, who has now allowed 4 home runs this summer. Someone who struggled with giving up the long ball and did not allow one his last start against Brewster. That came a couple of weeks or 1 week ago, but another one leaving the yard against him.
In his first 3 starts, he gave up a home run in each. Now allows home run number 4. Here's Cam Kozel. Count is 0-1 on him, who's 0 for 1. As he swats this one to Luke Hansen at shortstop, gloves it, makes the throw in time for the second out. So after the grand slam by John Schroeder, 2 ground outs worked by Hunter.
Yeah, nice job just to draw a pair of weak contact outs there, and I think that should show him a little bit that he doesn't have to pinpoint pitches, doesn't have to try to blow it by him, as he's someone who's not going to break the radar gun with pitches above 90, 91. That's pretty much where he's going to max out at. So just to pitch to some weak contact will be super important for him throughout the rest of this start.
The first pitch against David Lewis misses everything, heads straight back to the backstop. Bourne looking to capture their 3rd consecutive Cape League title. And Joe, you mentioned it earlier, just a team that didn't get off to a hot start, but just knows to turn it up at the right times.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, when you look at the last couple of seasons, Alex, this team just on a tear when they go into the playoffs after the All-Star break. And I know with the All-Star break a little bit later this year in July, they haven't had as many games after that break, but they're 3-0-1 going into the playoffs as of right now, and that's after going 12-6 after the All-Star break a year ago and 13-1-1 in 2022, and that's obviously including their playoff runs as well. And so for them to just bring so much momentum into the playoffs and be the hottest team that nobody wants to play in the first round and in the next rounds after that, it's something that they've done the past couple of seasons, and they just really know when to turn it on at the right time.
Bourne swept the doubleheader against Orleans yesterday, won 4-0 in Game 1 and 7-4 in Game 2. Haven't lost yet. In the month of August, had a 6-6 tie on Friday against Hyannis. Started off the month with an 11-4 victory over Falmouth. Their last loss came back on July 24th in a 2-0 game against YD that didn't even make it 9 innings. It was a game that was dealing with fog and out in Bourne Park. So their last loss in 9 innings came back on July 20th in a 10-5 loss against Wareham. The count evened up at 2-2 against David Lewis. Just such an impressive stretch of baseball for Scott Lander's squad.
And it hasn't just been pitching that's been dominating, hasn't been the hitting that's been dominating. Both sides of the ball. I mean, pitching-wise, they're the best team in the last 2 weeks. Hitting-wise, they are too.
A weak ground ball hit foul down the first baseline.
They've been scoring 7 runs per game in their last 5. They've allowed right above 3 runs per game in their last 5 and have doubled teams' outputs in the last 10 games, which is just incredible to see, as nobody has come close to the amount of runs that they've scored in the last 2 weeks with 66.
Team that's getting hot at the right time, and Scott Landers and his teams usually do that. It comes late in the season. So the count still remains 2-2 against Lewis. Off-speed pitch that doesn't break. Lays off for ball 3. So the count is full with 2 outs in the inning. Bourne's already put up 5 runs in this frame. They lead Cotuit 5-0. The payoff pitch on the way. Spoiled again by Lewis. Continuing to run up the pitch count of Aiden Hunter. It's now the 8th pitch of the at-bat. 49 pitches for Hunter, 28 strikes. The 3-2. Taken outside for ball 4. An excellent at-bat work by the Bourne Braves third baseman as he extends the inning. That brings up the 9th man to hit in this second inning, Garrett Michelle.
It just feels like an inning that might never end for Aiden Hunter, as one right-hander continues to warm up in the left field bullpen, but you know Mike Roberts doesn't want to have to go there, and now the 9th batter to hit in this inning, Garrett Michelle.
Michelle swings at the first pitch, fouls that right behind home plate. Four different pitchers used for Cotuit last night. Ryan Buckler got the start in his Kettleer debut, went 3 innings, gave up 2 runs on 5 hits, as Michelle falls behind in the count 0-2 after a pair of foul balls. Bo Sampson picked up his first win after going 2 innings. But this is a Kettleer bullpen that continues to see new faces get added to it each day. As the 0-2 on the outside corner, taken for ball 1. Hunter still up in the count 1-2. 44 different pitchers used for Mike Roberts' squad this season. Just a crazy number. The 1-2 got him swinging. The second strikeout for Aiden Hunter today. Both have come against the first baseman, Garrett Michelle, but not before Bourne explodes for 5 runs here in the second after a grand slam by the 9th man in the order, John Schroeder, as we're through 1.5 from Lowell Park. The Braves leading the Kettleers 5-zip.
Bortolatti Construction is your go-to provider for all excavation, drainage, and waterworks services. On top of that, they offer landscape filling materials such as sand, native stone, gravel, shells, and more. Serving Cape Cod and the islands for 30 years, Bortolatti Construction is committed to serving its community. Visit at 45 Industry Road in Marston's Mills or call 508-771-9399.
Coastal Rentals is the place to go for professional landscape and construction equipment. Whether you need tools and equipment for commercial use or for your own projects, Coastal Rentals has what you need. Purchasing gear is also available. Check out Coastal Rentals today.
Cotuit Library. Since its founding in 1874, the Cotuit Library has served its community with an expansive collection that continues to grow. Their staff is dedicated to serving all ages, offering youth events weekly. The library has dozens of events scheduled throughout the summer, so be sure to head to the website at cotuitlibrary.org to see what's coming up next. The library is located right off Main Street. The Cotuit Library, a proud sponsor of the Kettleers.
Be a part of historic Lowell Park and support the Cotuit Kettleers by purchasing a paver engraved with your personal message to be placed in the new Walk of Champions. For more information, visit the Cotuit Kettleers website.
A packed house here at Lowell Park for Game 40 of the regular season, and the Cotuit faithful came out to support the Kettleers, but not the start that they envisioned, as Cotuit trailing 5-0. Here in the bottom of the second as Charles Davalon set to lead things off, after Cotuit went 1-2-3 in the bottom of the first. The first offering looked at for strike one. But a nice day for baseball, an overcast day. Temperature still sitting around 80 degrees as Davalon pops this one up straight back over the press box. So 2 quick strikes for Kyle Lacalamento. Can take a look at how Bourne aligns defensively. Tristan Becerra gets the start in left field. Isaiah Jackson starts in center. Mason Neville in right as Davalon lays off. The 0-2 pitch. Low and outside. The infield for Bourne, David Lewis gets the start at the hot corner. Cam Kojal, he starts at shortstop. Blake Barthel plays second. Garrett Michelle gets the nod at first base. John Schroeder is behind the dish, and Kyle Lacalamento back out for his second inning of work. Count evened up at 2-2. Pitch clock reading 6. Lacalamento working out of the windup, taking his time now, will step off.
20-second violation, add a ball to the count, please.
So they will give a pitch clock violation to Lacalamento. So they add a ball to the count. So the count is full against the center fielder for Cotuit, Charles Davalon. The payoff pitch popped up high on the infield. Camping underneath it is Cam Kojal, who gloves it for the first out. So 4 up, 4 down for Lacalamento.
Lacalamento, a guy who's had a ton of college baseball experience. This obviously not being his first summer league, his first edition of summer ball coming back in 2019. Played in the Great Lakes Collegiate League for Cincinnati back in the summer of 19. A guy who had a 6.4 ERA and 26 innings there, and then went on to play at Dayton for his second season, and then 3 straight years with Houston.
First pitch in there for strike one against Nathan Hall. Hall back in the lineup after not playing in Game 2 against Falmouth. Count evened up at 1-1. Hall's been on a tear in the month of August, 4 for 5 with an RBI. Also with a triple, and the one out that he hit was a sacrifice fly in the left center field alleyway in the 10-9 loss against Wareham, where the center fielder, Robbie Bolin, turned into Clark Kent, making a fantastic dive and robbing Hall of what would have been his second extra base hit of the night. This one shot right back up the middle, gets through into center field. So the first base runner and hit of the day for Cotuit goes to Nathan Hall, as he's now 5 for 6 in August.
Yeah, clearly the hottest hitter in this Kettleers lineup in the past couple of days, and still not a guy that you're seeing in the lineup each and every day, as we saw Devin Taylor in right field last night along with Charles Davalon in center and Winfield at DH. So if you're not seeing an outfielder or catcher in the DH spot, you're likely not seeing anybody there, and Nate Hall is a guy who has made every opportunity count.
So has Luke Hansen as he hits this one into center field. That'll dunk down in front of Isaiah Jackson. Moving up to second is Nathan Hall, as he had to stay put on first, as he thought Jackson might have caught that ball, but Luke Hansen stays hot, hoping another single.
It's another hit for Luke Hansen. Went 1 for 4 in the second game yesterday. 1 for 3 against Orleans the other night, and just continues to swing a hot bat. Has hits in each of his last 5 appearances out on the field for the Kettleers, whether it be pinch hitting, whether it be starting, and nice to see him make solid contact again.
Was 2 for 2 against Falmouth in Game 1 of the doubleheader. Also scored 2 runs. As here's Timo Becerra. First pitch misses from Kyle Lacalamento. Becerra playing in his 26th game this summer, hitting .257 with 6 RBIs. The 1-0, low and in tight against the righty. He's another hitter that's catching fire at the right time, 4 for 9 in the last 2 games with a pair of RBIs. However, he has struggled in situations like these with runners in scoring position. As he hits this one deep to left field, Tristan Becerra giving it a run as that ball will drop down. Foul, they're going to say, is Timo Becerra hit that ball hard down the left field line. And Joe, baseball is a game of inches, and those inches broke the wrong way for Timo Becerra.
And with it, such a long look in from the only ump that's down that third base line, the home plate umpire, Mike Hinojosa, and Mike Roberts looking down the third base line as well. Those two disagreed on the call, and it's just been that kind of a week for the Kettleers, as that one would have felt great for Timo Becerra. Another extra base hit for him, as you know, he's been swinging a hot bat, but we haven't seen the power breakout for him that much yet this summer. And boy, as you mentioned, yeah, just a game of inches, and it's just tough to tell how that one is somehow able to get into foul territory.
Mike Hinojosa behind home plate. Jake Brichta is the umpire at first base. Jacob Ashworth standing right in front of the shortstop as Becerra hits this one on the ground to the shortstop, Kojal. He goes to third for one. The throw just in time. Kettleer dugout and faithful thought Nathan Hall might have beat that throw, but he's cut down for the second out.
Yeah, just a nice job by Cam Kojal to pick up the lead out. David Lewis with a solid tag, and it looked like Nathan Hall was close to sneaking that right leg in on the feet first slide, but I mean, from our perspective, I know a little bit further away from here, I know Mike Roberts didn't like the call, but it looks like that could have been the right one from Jacob Ashworth.
So that brings up the second baseman, Nolan Araki. Hansen stands on second. The first pitch to him, taken for ball one. Araki hasn't played since August 1st. We went 0 for 2. Struck out once in a loss against Orleans. Was pinch hit for by Tyler Cerny in that game after he committed 2 errors at third base. Now he gets to start at second as the count evened up at 1-1. Araki hitting .266 this summer, 3 home runs, 15 RBIs through 28 games. The 1-1 on the way. Big swing and a miss there as the Colometto pulls the strings on Naraki. So he falls behind in the count 1-2. He's thrived in these situations, however, hitting with runners in scoring position. 10 for 35 with 11 RBIs. Cotuit trailing 5-0. Naraki stays alive, fouling a pitch off of his front leg, and he appears to be in a bit of discomfort.
Yeah, that one never feels good, and it was one that was at the top of the zone with a fastball too, and he rattled that one off of his front leg. So he has to take a couple of seconds, shake that one off. Of course, not wearing an ankle guard, as you can see, and refocus here with 2 strikes in the count.
Hansen leads off second, Becerra off first. Naraki hits this one hard down the third base line, gloved on the backhand by David Lewis, but foul. Cotuit with 2 hits here in this inning after going 1-2-3 against Kyle Colometto. Was an impressive first inning, getting out arguably the 3 top hitters in the Kettleer lineup, Brandon Compton, Tanner Thatch, and Devin Taylor. As another foul ball off the bat of Nolan Naraki. Hitting that right toward the visitors' grandstand that continues to fill up a packed house here at Lowell Park. Fans in their lawn chairs out in the outfield. Fans hanging over the fence on either the right field line, the left field line. 2 and 3 rows deep of lawn chairs down the left field line. The 1-2 to Naraki. A high towering pop-up. Throwing off the mask is John Schroeder right toward the Bourne dugout, but he runs out of room as he collides with Garrett Michelle. So that ball falls in the dugout.
About 1.5 feet too. It hit off the bench that's just in front of the railing there in the Bourne dugout, on either dugout too, and so that was definitely a play that Schroeder, if he was able to navigate around home plate here a bit easier, he might be able to reach over the railing and grab it, but it's also his first start here at Lowell Park, so it's a brand new ballpark in foul territory that he needs to learn.
Well, he christened it in his first at-bat with a grand slam, putting the Braves up 5-0. Another pitch to Naraki. This one hit hard to the hot corner. Bobbling it is Lewis. His throw skips to first, and Naraki legs it out. What an at-bat for Nolan Naraki. Continued to foul pitches off, and on the 8th pitch of the AB, hits a ground ball to David Lewis. Bobbled it for a moment, and his ball skipped into the glove of Garrett Michelle, but not in time to nab Naraki.
Just great hustle up the first base line, as these are two teams that are really going to make you rush in the infield when you make any sort of mistake. And as you mentioned it, that one in and out of the glove of David Lewis, and it will go down as an error for him. And now the bases are juiced for the Kettleers just an inning after Bourne did the same.
First pitch curveball drops in for strike one against the Kettleer catcher Grant J. It's the first fielding error for David Lewis this season. Grant J digging in, a massive at-bat in this game, but the Kettleers trailing by 5 runs. Count evened up at 1-1 against J. This would be a time for Grant J to break out of his slump, hitting 147 this season. Goes the opposite way with a pop-up. Making the long run is Mason Neville, but runs out of room as that ball deep into the trees down the right field line, and Grant J falls behind on the count 1-2.
It's a very easy swing from Grant J. Got that towards the end of the barrel, and it's still flicked a long way down the right field line. Just a couple of feet in front of that 320-foot marker in the right corner. So it just shows you the power behind Grant J's bat. We've seen that power displayed a couple of times, but he just hasn't been able to straighten it out.
J, 3 for 39 since July 7th. LaColometto working out of the windup. The 1-2 pitch, fastball taken outside.
Well, he got ahead in the count, so you can expect him to expand the zone. Not Grant J, the pitcher, LaColometto, trying to get Jay to expand his zone and swing at something that's not a strike.
The 2-2 in the dirt, kept in front by John Schroeder. So Grant J has worked the count full here with 2 gone. 37 pitches for Kyle LaColometto, 24 strikes. The payoff pitch with the runners taking off, got him swinging. Kyle LaColometto strands the bases loaded, working in and out of trouble after surrendering 2 hits and an error committed by David Lewis, but picks up his second strikeout, fanning Grant J. As we're through 2 here from Lowell Park. Bourne leading Cotuit 5-0, and now we'll bring on our sideline reporter, Adele Huffman, who's at field level.
Hey, thanks, Joe and Alex. I'm here with Hayden, Whitney, and Lydia, and they're some of our biggest super fans. Hayden, how long have you been coming to these games?
Since I was born.
And what is your favorite part of coming to the games?
Probably hanging out with my friends, doing the kettles and the food.
I like the food there. Mine's probably hanging out with my friends.
Do you guys have a favorite player?
Mine's probably all of them, but my favorite coach is Coach Robertson, because he's my dance partner.
That's awesome, Hayden.
I like all the players. Devin Taylor.
Devin Taylor, a great player. Do you have a favorite food to get at the coop?
Probably a hot dog.
I like a hot dog too. Pretzel.
Awesome choices. And do you guys have anything you want to say to the Cotuit family?
Go Cats!
We'll send it back to you, Joe and Alex.
Thanks so much, Adele. Such a cool moment. Adele Huffman joined alongside by Hayden, Whitney, and Lydia. And so cool, showing their love for the Cotuit Kettleers. And I want to see those dance moves by Mike Roberts.
I know, right? It's amazing. We haven't been able to see that yet. Maybe after a couple of Cotuit wins, but he hasn't had too much to cheer about in the last week, but he's also been steady throughout, and I think that's something that is really promising to see as Cotuit fans, knowing that he's not up against it and he's not feeling the pressure of losing a bunch of games in the last week. But yeah, it was youth night the last time we were here at Lowell Park, so a bunch of the kids got to stick around after the ball game, have some s'mores, hang out with the players and Coach Mike Roberts, and Adele Huffman getting to catch up with a few of them. It's always great to hear.
And it was cool on youth night is that throwback from Grant J nearly drilled Aiden Hunter in the face.
Close.
Look out, Aiden.
Well, luckily he's okay, because you know that he wants to get back out there and get some redemption in this 3rd inning.
Going back to youth night, it was really cool. You mentioned the s'mores after the game. I think my favorite part of that game was the players interacting with the fans and Devin Taylor getting shot with a water gun. They were attacking Devin.
Where was that? How did I miss that?
I forget where you were, but it was right when Devin was trying to make his s'mores by the fire, and they were just squirting him with the water gun.
Well, it was really good to get all the water guns in there when we figured out that we didn't have any way to put out that fire. So thankfully, we had the water guns.
Water guns coming in clutch here at Lowell Park.
We've had a lot of good theme nights at Lowell Park this season. Great job put on by the board of the Cotuit Athletic Association, as well as members of this intern staff, community relations, doing such a great job of setting up all the events to make this more than a park that's just about baseball, but also to bring together families, forging new relationships and friendships that we've seen throughout this year.
And you see that with the sheer amount of people that continue to file in here at Lowell Park. Fans camping underneath the tent, filling up both grandstands. People in lawn chairs in the outfield, down both baselines. Count is 2-1 here against the left fielder Tristan Becerra, who led off last inning. This one hit deep to center field. Looking up is Charles Davalon, but that ball is way out of here. Tristan Becerra leaves the yard as Aiden Hunter surrenders his second home run as the Bourne Braves are pouring it on here in Cotuit. They now lead 6-0.
And now Mike Roberts is out there to make a pitching change. He was talking with Adele after their last home game a couple of nights ago. That was their game against Hyannis, and he said he didn't manage the game very well. He let the pitcher go far into that game, maybe a bit too far, and he allows Hunter to start off this third inning. It doesn't quite work out in their favor, so he'll try a new arm out of the bullpen, now down 6-0.
So Aiden Hunter's day is done. He goes just 2 innings, allows 5 hits, 6 runs, walking 3 batters, striking out 2, throwing 58 pitches, just 33 for strikes, and surrendering 2 home runs, 1 a grand slam to John Schroeder, and then the solo bomb to Tristan Becerra. So with the new arm coming into the game for Cotuit, we'll take a quick break here on the Kettleers Digital Network.
Cape Cod Coffee is a proud sponsor of the Cotuit Kettleers. They offer breakfast and lunch, as well as indoor and outdoor dining. Check out Cape Cod Coffee at one of their 3 locations, on Route 130, at Mashpee Commons, and at Wareham Commons, or on their website at capecodcoffee.com.
When the unexpected happens, make sure you and your assets are insured appropriately. The agents at Leonard Insurance Agency can tailor coverage to meet your needs. Call 508-428-6921 to talk to their licensed agents today.
For nearly 2 decades, Coastal Irrigation has proudly provided top-notch irrigation and landscape lighting services across Cape Cod. Starting with just a handful of customers in Cotuit, they now serve nearly all of the Cape. Upgrade your lawn care with their modern irrigation systems. No more dragging around hoses or worrying about watering while you're away. Their systems ensure your grass stays healthy and green effortlessly. Transform your home with Coastal Irrigation's landscape lighting services. Enhance your outdoor gatherings, improve safety, and boost curb appeal with their affordable, low-voltage lighting solutions. Illuminate your walkways and highlight architectural details to make your home shine. Contact Coastal Irrigation at 508-428-1529 or info@coastalirrigation.net.
36, now pitching with the Kettleers.
The new arm into the game for the Cotuit Kettleers is the new man here in the village, Joe Sabbath, making his first appearance and now the 45th different pitcher for the Kettleers used this season.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have we been able to say that it's the new man into the game for the Kettleers, as it's been new men each and every week and each and every game for the Kets, as this is the 6th reliever to make his debut for the Kettleers in the last week, and the 45th pitcher overall. And we saw one other North Adams navigator make his way from the NECBL at the start of the summer, now joining Cotuit at the end of the summer. We saw Ryan Buckler out of Marston's Mills throw 3 innings in their start last night against Falmouth. And now the next new pitcher to make an appearance, 45th one used, as you mentioned.
So it's the righty Joe Sabbath, who stands 6'2", 194 pounds, the rising sophomore with Tens, Rhode Island.
That was 64 miles an hour. How about that for the first pitch?
It is a first pitch strike against Davis Gillespie. Doesn't matter how fast it comes in as he speeds up the velocity here, bring it up to 89 miles an hour. So 25 mile an hour difference.
I mean, that's just so tough to face as a hitter. First, the pitch started at your head, finished at your knees, and now the next one is relatively flat at 89. Can't be easy to catch up to.
The 0-2 to Gillespie, off the bat foul. Blake Barthel, standing in the on-deck circle, picks up that ball. But Sabbath this past season in his freshman campaign had a 6.55 ERA and 15 appearances. Went 22 innings, gave up 27 hits, 16 earned runs. Walking 7 hitters, striking out 24. As this one shot into the right center field alleyway, that'll dunk down. As heading for extra bases is Gillespie. Takes the turnaround first. He will motor his way into second. So a 2-for-2 start to the day for Davis Gillespie, roping a no-out double.
It was a good start to the at-bat for Joe Sabbath, getting ahead 0-2, but this 2-strike approach for Bourne is something special. I mean, that one taken to the deep right center field alleyway, takes 2 hops and goes into the fence. These aren't just little dunk base hits. These are barrels from the Bourne Braves in the first 3 innings here. And now they're threatening again to extend their lead.
3 extra base hits early on for the Bourne Braves. So we're not even through 3 innings here at Lowell Park. Blake Barthel digs in. He's 1 for 1 today. The 7th man in the order takes a first pitch strike from Sabbath. Barthel has been a huge part for Bourne, but has struggled at times this year, hitting just .212 coming into today. Sabbath, 91 mile an hour fastball waved on and missed by Barthel. Hit .310 this past season at Coastal Carolina, 15 home runs, 61 RBIs for the Allentown, Pennsylvania native. The 0-2 pitch, this one hitting a straightaway center field. Going back is Charles Davalon, nearly at the fence, making the grab for the first out. Tagging up from second is Davis Gillespie. So he moves up 90 feet, standing now on third base.
That's just a productive at-bat for Blake Barthel, who came into this game with 2 RBIs, 2 for 6 against the Kettleers, now 3 for 8. And that one doing a good job. He takes it to the deepest part of the park as well, so they are just seeing pitches incredibly well. Doesn't matter if it's Aiden Hunter, Joe Sabbath. These Bourne Braves are mashing.
So now it's Mason Neville. First pitch fastball, high and away, backing up Grant J. Neville worked a walk against Hunter, one of 3 free passes issued by the Kettleers starter. And Sabbath is going to balk, so coming in to score is Davis Gillespie. As a mental mistake for Sabbath, plates the 7th run for the Braves. So the bases are now empty for Mason Neville. Count remains 1-0. The righty working out of the stretch has the glove set at his belt. Comes home, nearly drills Neville on the 89 mile an hour heater. Neville coming into today 3 for 30. One of his 3 hits came on July 26th against the Kettleers. Hit .286 this past season at Oregon. Count is 2-1. Blasted 16 home runs, 43 RBIs. He got on base in all 5 of the NCAA tournament games for the Ducks. Sabbath deals the 2-1. Missing off the plate to the lefty, so he falls behind in the count, 3-1. Neville just 1 ball away from working walks in consecutive innings. The 3-1. Taken for strike 2. Neville was about to ditch the bat. Mason Neville rocking some pink batting gloves. Has yellow tape on his wrist, so an interesting color combination. The payoff pitch, got him swinging. Nice job by Joe Sabbath to battle back in the count and record the second out on his first strikeout of Mason Neville.
Yeah, that was a great job by Joe Sabbath, who was ahead 0-2 on the double and then the fly out to center field, but then fell behind to 2-1, 3-1 in that count, able to battle back, dot one low and outside, and then come back with another heater to complete the strikeout, his first as a Kettleer.
So here's John Schroeder. Broke this game open with a grand slam in the second inning. Made it 5-0. Bourne has since tacked on 2 more runs. They lead 7-0. It's just the 5th hit of the season for Schroeder. Now 5 for 22. Sabbath gets ahead of him. The 0-1. In the dirt, kept in front by Jay. Count evened up at 1-1. This past season at Florida Atlantic, he hit 10 home runs, batted .274, 50 RBIs. He had consecutive games with grand slams versus FIU in March. Picks up his first grand slam here as Sabbath loses the hat on the 1-1 pitch. Missed with the 89 mile an hour fastball. Schroeder started this summer in the MLB Draft League, where he hit .296, 5 doubles, 3 triples, and a home run. Extra base hit power on display for Schroeder as the count evened up at 2-2. As Sabbath back with the fastball. Joe Sabbath just 1 pitch away from getting out of this 3rd inning. The righty kicks and deals the 2-2. Foul tipped in and out of the glove of Grant Jay. Joe Sabbath is coming to the game and throwing strikes, doing exactly what he was tasked to do, is toss 17 pitches, 13 strikes.
Yeah, looks like we're starting to see him settle in here, and it would be great to see him escape this inning by fanning John Schroeder after the grand slam.
Gave up a double to Davis Gillespie, the first batter he faced, and retired Barthel on a fly out to center field, and Mason Neville on a strikeout. Count is full after the 2-2 backed up the catcher out of the left-hand batter's box. So the count is full. Sabbath working out of the stretch, peers in, gets the sign from Jay, now comes home with the payoff pitch. Just missing the zone, so the inning continues for Bourne as John Schroeder works a 2-out walk.
Well, for the Kettleers, I know with the day off tomorrow you get some extra rest for your bullpen, but already on the second arm, and we're here in the 3rd inning. Joe Sabbath is about to reach the 20 pitch mark, so a high pitch count for Aiden Hunter, now starting to become a high pitch count for Joe Sabbath in relief. But he's someone who this past season at Rhode Island made 15 appearances. All of those were in relief, so not a guy who's maybe used to having a long relief style, as he was in the back of the bullpen for North Adams at the start of this year.
Digging in for his 3rd at-bat is the leadoff man, Isaiah Jackson, who's already 1 for 2. He's up in the count here in his first at-bat against Sabbath. Singled to begin the game and bounced out to Nolan Araki in the second. The 1-0. just missing the zone. It's another competitive pitch for Joe Sabbath there. The low and outside corner against the lefty Jackson. Schroeder leads off first. The righty kicks and deals, tying up Jackson off of his hands, fights that back into the parking lot. Fan making a nice grab off the bounce.
A lot of fans here. So many people making their way to the ballpark today.
Fans cheering on the Kettleers and coming out in bunches, but not the performance that Cotuit wanted to finish the regular season with, trailing 7-0, not even through 3 innings. The 2-1, missing the zone again, so Sabbath falling behind Jackson and in danger of walking back-to-back hitters. The righty takes a look back at Schroeder, now comes set. Comes home with the 3-1. Taken for strike 2. Jackson drops the bat. Was perplexed on that call, and the pitch was right down the middle.
Yeah, I mean, that looked like a great pitch from Joe Sabbath. He takes a peek back and looks at Mike Hinojosa, says, "Are you sure?" But he'll have to dig back in. 3rd straight full count for Joe Sabbath against Bourne.
Sabbath looking to end this top of the 3rd, where Bourne has already put up another 2 runs. Started this inning with a solo bomb by Tristan Becerra. Sean Schroeder is dancing off the first base bag, not being held on by Tanner Thatch. Running with the pitch to the 3-2. Hit into center field. Going back is Charles Davalon on the run. In front of the fence, crashing into the wall and making the grab. Charles Davalon tracking that ball all the way off the bat, making an emphatic grab into the fence and holding on to the ball for the 3rd and final out of the inning. Here in the top of the 3rd, but not before. The Bourne Braves score another 2 runs on a home run by Tristan Becerra and Davis Gillespie coming in to score on a balk. So we're through 2.5 here from Lowell Park. It's been all Braves. They lead it 7-0.
You need to be seen for a minor illness or injury. Cape Cod Healthcare Urgent Care is here for you with high-quality, full-service walk-in care. ER expertise meets urgent care convenience at our 6 urgent care centers, which are staffed by board-certified ER providers and located Cape-wide from Falmouth to Orleans. Cape Cod Healthcare Urgent Care is open daily and offers a cost-saving option for everything from sprains to stitches, with timely treatment in under an hour for most patients. View online wait times at capecodhealth.org/urgent care. Cape Cod Healthcare Urgent Care. Minor emergencies, major attention.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings. They're ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we know there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. Now that's how we all win. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
It's the final day of the regular season here in the Cape Cod Baseball League, and the playoff picture slowly but surely coming into view as the Hyannis Harbor Hawks sit atop the West Division with a 23-14-2 record. They're currently in action, leading 3-1 in a battle of the 2 top teams in the league. They're up 3-1 over YD on the road. As the first pitch to Brandon Compton taken for ball 1. Bourne leading Cotuit 7-0. Brewster leading Harwich 1-0. Bottom of the first in that game. As Compton fouls the second pitch of the at-bat down the third baseline to even the count up at 1-1.
But we'll be paying close attention to the game that kicks off in about 20 minutes at Spillane Field. Falmouth taking on Wareham, and if the Kettleers are somehow able to fight their way back into this game and win it, it would be a Wareham win that would force a first-round matchup between the Gatemen and the Kettleers. But if Bourne is able to win this game, we'll be back here on Tuesday for a rematch of last year's first round.
That's a scary sight for Cotuit, especially trailing 7-0 as Brandon Compton hits this one deep to right field. Looking up is Mason Neville at the track, and that ball is gone. Brandon Compton leaves the yard for Cotuit. It's a solo bomb for him, the 6th home run of the season. And with one swing of the bat, the Kettleers trail 7-1.
Right on cue, Brandon Compton. That's exactly what the Kettleers needed. They needed a spark in the top of the lineup, and Brandon Compton has provided that throughout the 36 games that he's played in left field all season, and he continues that today. So let's see if that can drag the offense out of this slow start to this game.
Compton now hits in 5 consecutive games as swing at the first pitch is Tanner Thatch, who waves and misses. The 3rd hit of the day for Cotuit plates their first run. Thatch 0 for 1 with a hard line out to Blake Barthel at second. Count evened up at 1-1. It's the first home run for Brandon Compton since July 23rd. In a game at Hyannis. First home run for the Kettleers in a while. It was Jaron Advincula's home run as Thatch hits this one hard down the right field line. Well foul. That home run for Jaron Advincula coming all the way back in the game against Harwich on July 30th.
6 games ago. This is a team that has relied so much on the long ball throughout the season. They're still at 4th place in the league with 34 overall. And that could be a big reason as to why we really didn't see this offense play up to the level that we know that it can. And another guy at the plate who has not hit a home run in quite some time is Tanner Thatch.
Thatch's last home run coming back on July 17th. In the 6-5 victory over Orleans, Thatch still sitting at 8 home runs, this being his 37th game of the summer. The 2-2 taken low. So Thatch works the count full. Kyle Acalamedo stranded the bases loaded in the second as Thatch, a twisting foul ball down the left field line that reaches the grandstand, takes a bounce and into the hands of a fan.
Nice grab. Someone's got to come down with it.
The payoff pitch to Thatch on the inside corner, laid off for ball 4. Tanner Thatch reaches for the first time today, and still with no gone in the inning, Cotuit has a runner on first.
Well, you mentioned Tanner Thatch not having as many home runs in the last 10 games, which obviously we have seen. No homers since that July 17th game against Orleans. But while he hasn't been able to be as productive power-wise, has still gotten on base at a really high clip, and that's just something that shows you that Tanner Thatch isn't a one-dimensional power hitter. We know the first base that he can play, but also someone who is going to be up there fighting every single time he's at the plate and works deep into that count, works a walk, and that's the end of the day for the left-handed pitcher, Lacalamoto.
So in his first start with the Bourne Braves, Kyle Acalamedo goes 2 innings, allows 3 hits, gives up a run. That came earlier this inning on the solo bomb by Brandon Compton, walked a batter, and struck out 2. Tossing 50 pitches, 32 for strikes. So with Scott Landers and his squad going to the bullpen, we'll step aside for a quick break here on the Kettleers Digital Network.
Since 1980, the O'Rourke family has been catering Cape Cod clam bakes, making your events delicious and memorable. Founded by Jake O'Rourke, Jake's Clam Bakes has become a beloved tradition, now carried on by his son, Dan. Choose from our menu options, and on the day of your clam bake, their crew will come to your site and steam a fresh, mouth-watering clam bake just for you. It's that easy. Call us at 833-252-6285 or visit our new takeout location at Building 6 on 3821 Route 28 in Marston's Mills. Email us at dan@jakesclambakes.com with your event details, number of guests, date, time, location, and any special requests like a raw bar, homemade desserts, or kids menu. Not catering? Try their takeout menu featuring lobster rolls, smash burgers, salads, sandwiches, and a smoothie bar. Jake's Clambakes, making Cape Cod gatherings unforgettable.
With 30-plus years of personal injury litigation and insurance negotiation experience, Snow Law Firm is your go-to for wrongful injuries and rightful compensation. Snow Law Firm will secure the maximum amount of compensation available through settlement or trial. Schedule a free case evaluation by calling 508-477-7100.
Since 19...
Devin Taylor digging in for his second at-bat, squaring off against the new arm, Jackson Mitchell, the rising sophomore who attends Binghamton University in upstate New York, stands 6'4", 223 pounds. A swing at the first pitch is Devin Taylor, waving through on the 91-mile-an-hour fastball. The fourth appearance of the summer for Jackson Mitchell has a 5.4 ERA through 5 innings. 3 earned runs, walking 2, striking out 3. Just missing off the plate against the lefty Taylor. As Kyle Acolamedo worked into the third inning, gave up a solo home run to Brandon Compton to lead things off, and then Tanner Thatch worked a walk as he leads off first. 1-1 pitch taken outside against the lefty Taylor. Mitchell this past season at Binghamton had a 1-0 record in 21 2/3 innings pitched, 5.4 ERA. Taylor, a twisting foul ball down the left field line, back into the parking lot. Count evened up at 2-2. Mitchell was named to the America East All-Rookie team, striking out 30 hitters in those 21 2/3 innings pitched. This one slapped the other way down the left field line. That'll dunk down. Tanner Thatch takes the turnaround second. He'll put the brakes on as Devin Taylor picks up his first hit as his hot August continues.
And someone who, remarkably so, as a left-handed hitter, actually hits left-handed pitching better than he hits righties. But right there, that's his 17th hit against right-handed pitching this season, who going into today was hitting .258 against righties compared to .364 against lefties. But this is exactly what the Kettleers need right now in response to going down 7-0. 2 base runners after the solo shot from Brandon Compton.
That home run by Brandon Compton, 95 miles an hour off the bat. Traveled 409 feet. Deep to right field as here is Charles Davalon with 2 runners on. The 1-0 pitch outside. So he's up in the count 2-0. Taylor now 7 for 12 through 4 games in the month of August. 5 singles and 2 doubles. Davalon coming up in a big spot, runners in scoring position, an area where he's thrived all year. As Mitchell falls behind 3-0, and that draws John Schroeder out from the crouch to talk things over with the new arm into the game. Davalon, runners in scoring position this year, 7 for 21 with a pair of doubles, 9 RBIs, hitting .333.
Yeah, and if you're Charles Davalon right here with a 3-0 count, you're likely looking for a pitch that's perfect, one that you know you can square up. Other than that, I'd expect Mitchell to just try to find the zone.
He does just that with a fastball at 91 miles an hour.
But not something if your Davalon can do much with that low and outside. Just a nice job for him to hit his spot.
Thatch leading off second, the 3-1 to Davalon. Rocketed back into the parking lot. Smashing off of a car.
Look out. Sometimes we see it split the cars down the way, but that time even the fielders who are in the parking lot couldn't get in front of that one.
The count goes from 3-0 to 3-2. 2 runners on for Cotuit. They trail 7-1. Another foul ball right back in the same spot. A nice job by the catcher, John Schroeder, to go out to the mound, talk things over with Jackson Mitchell, and ever since that mound visit, 3 consecutive strikes. Thatch dancing off second. The payoff pitch once more to Davalon. This one shot deep down the right field line. Giving it a look is Mason Neville. Takes a hop off the fence. Thatch rounding third. Following him is Devin Taylor. He will stop at third. The throw home, not in time. Gets away from the catcher. Taylor dashing for home. There is no throw. Moving up to third base is Charles Davalon. Chaos on the base pass for the Kettleers, and Charles Davalon clears the bases as Cotuit trailing 7-3.
A big burst of energy from the spark plug center fielder who sends that one into the right field corner. He was thinking 2 all the way. Tanner Thatch is able to score from second, and then they take advantage of another mistake by this Braves infield. And when you're down 7-0 in a game against a team that's playing as well as Bourne, you're going to need to take advantage of every single opportunity, and no hesitation from Devin Taylor there at third as he scores a much-needed third run of this ball game. And now Nate Hall trying to bring Davalon home from third. But this is the response that you needed from the Kettleers, who seemed down and out after the top of that third inning. We were just talking about it during the break that this team needs a spark. They need somebody to step up, get a big hit, but they've gotten 2 big hits in this third inning. First from Compton, now from Davalon, and they're looking for another one.
And here's Nathan Hall. First pitch strike in there from Mitchell. Hall 1 for 1. Singled with 1 out in the second. Continuing his hot month of August, now 5 for 6. For the right-handed swinging right fielder who's transferring from Clemson to South Carolina. The 0-1, spiked in the dirt, gets away from the catcher. Dashing home is Davalon. He makes it just in time, sliding in safely as Cotuit has scored all 4 runs this inning, as everyone that's come up to the dish so far this inning has crossed home plate.
Just a great job to jump all over the new pitcher, Jackson Mitchell, not let him get comfortable in this ball game. I know with a runner on first already, then he gave up an immediate single to Devin Taylor that he was up against it early on, but just to continue the offensive push is going to be super important here, as if you're able to get Nate Hall on base, there's no stopping this Cotuit offense, as you have 2 guys who have been swinging the hottest bats in this lineup, still yet to hit in this third frame.
1-1 pitch looked at for strike 2. Luke Hansen standing in the on-deck circle. He's 1 for 1 today. Timo Becerra, another guy who's swinging a hot bat. Hitting behind Hansen, and it's been a middle of the order in this trio of Hall, Hansen, Becerra, really carrying Cotuit over the last few games as Hall thought about swinging at the breaking ball. Wisely lays off to even the count at 2-2. Before this hot stretch for Nathan Hall, didn't have an extra base hit since June 28th, where he doubled against this Bourne squad. This one, a slow hit ground ball to the third baseman, Lewis. His throw in the dirt, but in time to nab Hall for the first out. Nice scoop by Garrett Michelle at first. So Nathan Hall is the first out here in the inning.
Yeah, big play at Garrett Michelle to scoop that one from the dirt. Nice pick there to pick up the first out of this inning. But Nate Hall, that at bat, proving to be vital, but also seeing a lot of pitches and getting that third run home. Charles Davalon from 90 feet away, and with 4 runs, and now Luke Hansen, Timo Becerra, these guys have been seeing it well. A chance to extend this inning against Mitchell.
Swing at the first pitch is Luke Hansen. Falling behind on the count, 0-1. Hansen already 1 for 1 today. He's been a guy that seen a lot of action on that left side of the infield for the Kettleers. Nolan Rocky getting a couple of days off. Tyler Cerny not in the lineup. Luke Hansen has jumped at the opportunity and ran with it. Has his batting average up to .333. Fouling a pitch off there. Right off the home plate umpire, Mike Hinojosa.
Yeah, glad he's okay.
Dark clouds above head here at Lowell Park as the skies just continue to darken. Not the first time that's happened between these two teams. Game back earlier in the month of July, only going 5.5 innings. As that goes right off the helmet of Luke Hansen.
Oh, man.
Hansen went down in a heap, but quickly gets back up to his feet in a scary moment for Luke Hansen, but good sign that he's okay, making the walk down to first.
Yeah, now as he makes it about halfway up the first base line, and one of the members of the training staff, now Mike Hinojosa, is going to call her over, because that's just a scary moment for Luke Hansen, who had great reaction time to get out of the way of that baseball, as it hopefully, and from our perspective, looked like it got all helmet. But yeah, that's just a scary situation. Already seen some dangerous foul balls go the Kettleers' way this week, and now a pitch that runs up and inside and strikes Luke Hansen on the head. Just hope that he's all right. He's someone who has really broken through in the past couple games, someone who struggled to make the transition to this roster at the start of the year and really wasn't given too many opportunities as a starter, but has made the most of every opportunity since he's kind of been named this everyday starting man in at least the last week or so. And so to see him go down is definitely a scary sight, as we already talked about it in the past couple of games. Luke Hansen has likely been swinging just about as hot a bat as anybody in this order, and it looks like he's going to remain in this ball game. So that's just great to see for the Kettleers. Obviously not great to see him get on base in likely the hardest way that you can, but he's still on first base nonetheless, and a chance for Timo Becerra with one gone.
Hansen went 1 for 4 last night with 2 RBIs, has had hits in his last 4 games. So now it's Timo Becerra digging in, 0 for 1. Bounced out into a fielder's choice, was stranded on second just an inning ago. When Kyle Lacalametto stranded the bases loaded in that second inning, got a strikeout of Grant J to finish off that frame. As Mitchell falls behind Becerra, 1-0 in the righty-righty matchup. Another pitch that's high and in tight. Becerra wisely lays off. He's up in the count 2-0. Hansen leading off first. The 2-0. This one shot. That'll dunk down in the right center field alleyway after a leaping attempt by Barthel. Heading for third is Hansen. The throw cut off. It's another single for Timo Becerra, as the Kettleers bats have continued to come alive here in the third, as they have runners on the corners after the single by Timo.
What a great piece of hitting from Timo Becerra. Takes one that's in the bottom of the zone, maybe a little bit low and away, goes the opposite way into the right center field alleyway, and Luke Hansen has to put the brakes on at third. But this is exactly why this part of the lineup has been so scary for teams to face, because they're two guys who just hit line drives all the time. They don't strike out too much and put the ball in play, and that's exactly what we've seen these past few days from Timo Becerra and Luke Hansen, and they're red hot at the right time.
4 hits in the inning for Cotuit, still just 1 out as Nolan Naraki digs in with runners on the corners, trailing by 3. Mitchell's first offering a 91-mile-an-hour fastball laid off for ball 1. Naraki reached an inning ago on a fielding error by David Lewis. It was a hard ground ball to the third baseman that was bobbled in and out of his glove, and a skipping throw that Naraki legged out. The second pitch of the at-bat looked at for a called strike 1 to even the count up at 1-1. Naraki, 4 for his last 11 coming into today with 3 RBIs. He's also walked 3 times. The 1-1. Naraki tried to check his swing, but Mike Hinojosa signals that he goes around. So a big strike 2 for Jackson Mitchell. Looking to get out of this inning with Cotuit already scoring 4 runs. Becerra takes his lead off first. Hansen dances off third. The 1-2 pitch to Naraki. A high-towering pop-up that stays on the infield right to the third baseman, David Lewis, who makes the grab, battling the wind and hauling it down for the second out.
Well, clearly not what Naraki was looking for after reaching on an error his last time up. He puts the ball in play, but that's not the fly out that Cotuit really needed there. Needed something deeper into the outfield to score that run from third, but now they'll have to rely on Grant J for another chance with a runner just 90 feet away and 2 gone in an inning.
Jay came up with the bases loaded last inning and struck out. Looking to avoid that fate here. Mitchell starts him out with a first pitch strike. Jay came into today hitting 147 through 26 games. Has struck out 40 times in 75 at-bats, now 41 times in 76 at-bats, as he lost a foul ball to the left of the visiting grandstand down the first base line.
You hear Mike Roberts from the third base coach's box trying to cheer on Grant Jay, saying you're good even though there's 2 strikes in the count. Can still turn one around into the field of play.
Jay and Roberts have consistently worked together all season as the 0-2 pitch misses the zone.
He's someone who's struggled with 2 strikes in the count, just 2 hits and 52 plate appearances.
Has just 11 hits all year. Breaking ball. Schroeder thought it was strike 3, hopped up, nearly fired the ball down. But Mike Hinojosa signals it's ball 2 to even the count up at 2-2. 2-2 count against Grant Jay, 2 outs in the inning. The Kettleers have 2 runners on, trailing 7-4. Mitchell peers in, now comes set at the belt, kicks and deals the 2-2 pitch. Another ball that Schroeder popped up. That's outside, so Jay has worked the count full. And a good at-bat for the Kettleer catcher who's looking to continue this inning. Cotuit started off the inning with a bang. Solo home run by Brandon Compton, as there is a lefty warming up in the Braves bullpen. Payoff pitch to Jay. Got him looking. Mitchell freezes him with the breaking ball. Jay disagrees with the call. We'll talk things over with Mike Hinojosa, but Jackson Mitchell works in and out of trouble, stranding runners on the corners, but not before the Cotuit Kettleers come alive. Here in the bottom of the third, Brandon Compton started off the inning with a solo home run. Tanner Thatch, Devin Taylor, and Charles Davalon also came in to score this inning. So it's 7-4 through 3 innings from Lowell Park. Stay tuned for more here on the Kettleers Digital Network.
Discover a treasure of nearly 70,000 books at the Isaiah Thomas bookstore right here in Cotuit. Founded in 1969 and relocated to a restored 1860s Crocker family house in 1990. Their shop is a haven for book lovers of any age. Visit the Isaiah Thomas bookstore on 4632 Falmouth Road in Cotuit or contact at 508-428-2752.
Since 1995, MK Pasic Plumbing and Heating has been your trusted commercial and residential plumbing contractor in Massachusetts. They specialize in new and rehabilitation work, gas and pipe fitting, climate control, heating, HVAC, oil burner work, boiler installation, radiant heat, forced hot water, air conditioning, and duct and sheet metal fabrication services. Founded and owned by Michael Pasic, a team of 9 skilled professionals is dedicated to providing top quality service. MK Pasic Plumbing and Heating is registered with the Massachusetts Board of State Examiners of Plumbers and the Department of Public Safety. For all your plumbing and heating needs, contact MK Pasic Plumbing and Heating at 508-420-3429 or at 60 Clamshell Point Lane in Cotuit. MK Pasic Plumbing and Heating, proud sponsor of the Cotuit Kettleers.
Some excitement brewing here at Lowell Park after Cotuit putting up 4 runs in the bottom half of the inning, making it just a 3-run ball game. As it's the 2, 3, 4 hitters due up for the Bourne Braves, Cam Kojal, David Lewis, and Garrett Michelle. Facing the right-handed reliever, Joe Sabbath, coming out for his 2nd inning of work. The first pitch runs inside, nearly drills Kojal, who's 0 for 2 today. Reached on a fielder's choice in the first inning, then bounced out to Luke Hansen in the second. Bourne, 7 runs on 6 hits, 2 errors. Cotuit, 4 runs on 6 hits, no errors. Sabbath falls behind the lefty here, 2-0. Kojal came into today 6 for 15 against Kettleer pitching, now 6 for 17. with a home run and 2 RBIs. Sabbath falls behind him 3-0. Kozel has worked 15 walks through 29 games this summer, struck out 31 times. 2 home runs, 11 RBIs, 9 doubles. Tied for third in the league with doubles. The 3-0 pitch swinging, grounding a pitch down the first base line, kicking off the base of the dugout. Kozel played this past season at Vanderbilt, now transferring to Arkansas. Hit .284 with the Commodores. Drove in 28 runs. The 3-1 pitch. Check this swing. He does go around. So from 3-0 to 3-2 we go to the leadoff hitter here in the 4th.
Yeah, Joe Sabbath running that pitch count up a lot. 3 straight full counts, and now make it 4 as we move into the 4th inning.
30 pitches for Joe Sabbath in his Kettleer debut. The payoff pitch spoiled off the bat of Kozel. A twisting foul ball that lands in the grandstand. Couple of Kettleer arms doing the 50-50 raffle. Zach Duenas, Dylan Hawanitz. It's always easy to spot Zach Duenas. He's not a guy that is really hard to miss, standing 6'10". The 3-2 to Kozel. Another foul ball right toward the parking lot. And a nice at-bat, working 7 pitches here against Kozel, the leadoff man in the 4th. Bourne jumped out to a 7-0 lead. Cotuit answered back with 4 just a half inning ago. The 3-2 once more. This one shot right back up the middle. That'll drop down into center field in front of Charles Davlon as Cam Kozel reaches for the second time today, picking up his first base hit. He's now 1 for 3.
Yeah, what a way to end an 8-pitch battle to start off the 4th inning and make that 4 straight frames where the Braves have been able to put the leadoff man on.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Braves fire on all cylinders to begin the inning. Now the 7th hit for Bourne. That'll bring up the 3rd man in the order, David Lewis. He's 0 for 1, reached on a fielder's choice, also walked in the 2nd. Swing away at the first pitch, fouling it over the visitor grandstand. Behind the Bourne dugout, down that first base line. Joe Sabbath has come out of the bullpen, gone an inning, given up 2 hits. A run, walked a batter, and struck out 1. A pickoff move, Kozel dives back in safely. First batter that Sabbath faced was Davis Gillespie, who roped a double, came in to score on a balk. But after that, got a fly out of Blake Barthel, a strikeout of Mason Neville, walk to John Schroeder, and a long fly out of Isaiah Jackson to Charles Davlon in center field, who crashed into the fence in left center field. The 0-1 pitch, breaking ball. Just a beautiful pitch there, 64 miles an hour from Sabbath.
Yeah, not the first time we've seen him throw that pitch. That one dotting low and outside. Takes a long time to get in there, but for David Lewis, it just buckles him at the knees.
Speeds up the bat, going with the 87-mile-an-hour fastball. A 23-mile-an-hour differences. Lewis just barely able to stay alive, fouling it into the fence.
It's a lot different look from a breaking ball at the bottom of the zone to a fastball above the top of the zone, and he has to stay alive.
Leading off first is Kozel. The 0-2 to Lewis, got him swinging. David Lewis expands the zone on a pitch well outside, but he goes down on strikes for the first time today. The 2nd strikeout for Joe Sabbath, as Lewis is the first man gone here in the 4th.
Well, he broke that streak of 4 straight full counts and went back to what he was doing when he came into this game in the middle of that 3rd inning. Back-to-back 0-2 counts, gets ahead there, and now falling behind here on Garrett Michelle.
Really nice grab by Grant J.
Yeah.
Backing up, really losing his balance, but able to keep that ball in front. Ultra important with Cam Kozel standing on first. Garrett Michelle 0 for 2 today. The pair of swinging strikeouts. Sabbath can't find the zone on the 2nd pitch. This one low to the lefty. Michelle in his second season with the Braves, hitting .212. Broke his wrist this past year at Virginia Tech. As a pickoff move, Kojal dives back in. So it was a long road for Michelle after coming back from his wrist injury. Got off to a slow start this summer. Hit around 130, was 4 for 23 at one point. Was gotten his batting average up to .217, now falling back to .212 in the midst of this game. He's hit 3 home runs, 15 RBIs. He's hit 10 home runs in his 2 seasons in Bourne. Drove in 36 runs. As he fouls the next offering back right off the snack shack. Loud bang.
Look out. People trying to just put some relish on their hot dogs, and that baseball nearly hit him. Thank God it didn't, though, of course. It was close.
The 2-2. Slow hit chopper. Foul down the first baseline.
Although there is an army of kids down there who are trying to protect those cars in the parking lot, trying to catch some foul balls. So if anybody's not paying attention over there, they got about, looks like over 20 fielders out there.
They're ready, and they've been tested often as another foul ball or grounder that skips over the fence down the right field line.
Well, we can see why this is a team that doesn't strike out that much. I mean, it has to be the most amount of foul balls that we've seen to this point in a game this summer, and 387 strikeouts, not including their ones today, the second fewest in the entire league, only by 2.
101 pitches so far for Cotuit, not even through 4 innings. Aiden Hunter had 58, the 44th from Joe Sabbath in the dirt, kept in front by Grant J.
Here's another full count here for Joe Sabbath. He's got to go back to what was doing well for him earlier on in the start. We've seen him elevate that fastball, making it look a couple ticks higher than it is at the top of the zone. Let's see if he tries to do that against Michelle here.
Leading off first is Kojal. He takes off for second. This one hit on the ground to Naraki. Flips it to Hansen for 1. The relay throw in time. They got him. An inning-ending 4-6-3 double play off the bat of Garrett Michelle, as the newly formed middle infield duo of Nolan Naraki and Luke Hansen teaming up to end this top of the 4th. As it's a scoreless inning for Joe Sabbath at a relief, but Bourne still leads Cotuit 7-4.
Escape the summer heat at Polar Cave Ice Cream Parlor, located on Route 28 in Mashpee, right at the Barnstable town line. Our creamy, homemade ice cream flavors will delight your taste buds. Plus, Kettleers kids get a free cone on home game days. Call us at 508-477-5553 or email info@polarcave.com to learn more. Come chill with us and experience the coolest treats on Cape Cod.
RCA Electric and Generators is dedicated to helping homeowners and building contractors select, purchase, install, and maintain the ideal generator for their specific needs. Since being founded by Randy Agnew in 1990, this Barnstable-based family-run business has grown its reputation by serving all of Cape Cod, the South Shore, and the South Coast. Get in touch today by reaching out to RCA at 508-428-0449 or visit in person at 153 Commercial Street in Mashpee.
Willow Bend has been regarded as one of Cape Cod's and New England's premier private clubs and communities for over 25 years. Willow Bend is a family-friendly community right here in Cotuit. They strive for a fun and relaxed lifestyle with good times and good friends. Discover all that and more at Willow Bend.
The same man who led off the bottom of the 3rd for Cotuit now digs in here to lead things off in the bottom of the 4th. It's the leadoff hitter in this Kettleers order, Brandon Compton, who's 1 for 2. Got the party started for Cotuit just an inning ago, launching his 6th home run that traveled 409 feet. First pitch in there from Jackson Mitchell. That home run was given up by the starter, Kyle Acalamedo. Compton hitting a ball down the left field line. Giving it a run is David Lewis, who reaching up, making the grab. An impressive play by the third baseman for Bourne. Had to run a long way, making the grab in foul territory as Compton's down to lead off the inning.
A lot of foul ground, and it's the same situation for John Schroeder, who's getting his first start at Lowell Park. David Lewis also having to get used to some pop-ups deep into the Lowell Park foul territory down the line there, but these are also learning opportunities for these guys if these teams end up playing each other.
Another foul ball right for David Lewis. Again, the ball continuing to find him as he makes the grab again. Pair of pop-ups to David Lewis at third base as Brandon Compton and Tanner Thatch quickly out to begin the inning.
Number 20, Evan Taylor, the DH, Indiana University.
Just 3 pitches for Jackson Mitchell going through Brandon Compton and Tanner Thatch as Devin Taylor digs in. He's already 1 for 2. 7 for 12 in the month of August. Looks at a first pitch in there for strike 1. This is a good bounce back inning for Jackson Mitchell, who struggled in the first inning, giving up 3 hits on 2 runs. Did strand 2 runners on, getting a strikeout of Grant J. Quickly, Taylor down on the count 0-2 with just 5 pitches thrown for Jackson Mitchell here in this bottom of the 4th. Already working quickly, the 0-2 to Taylor. At the top of the strike zone, Taylor lays off. And these are the type of innings that you want to have, especially after struggling just an inning ago.
Yeah, you definitely do. To get 3 up, 3 down would be huge after the Kettleers just built some momentum off of that inning-ending double play in the 4th, and Bourne can get right back here.
The 1-2 pitch, got him swinging. A 1-2-3 inning work by Jackson Mitchell as he goes through the top 3 hitters in the Cotuit order, getting back-to-back pop-ups to third base of Brandon Compton and Tanner Thatch, and getting Devin Taylor to strike out on a breaking ball low in the dirt. As we're through 4 here from Lowell Park, Bourne leading Cotuit 7-4. That was a much-needed inning for Jackson Mitchell, as we'll see what he has in store in the rest of the game. But before we'll take a quick break, now we'll bring on Adele Huffman, who has more.
Thanks, Joe and Alex. I am standing beside our amazing 2023 summer sideline reporter, Lily Butler. Lily, what have you been up to?
Nothing much, just hanging out. It's so good to be back. Good to see everyone. Good to be back here at Lowell Park.
What was your favorite part of sideline here at Cotuit?
The best part about Cotuit and Lowell Park in general is the people. Everyone who is a Kets fan is truly just a community, and you feel that when you're here, and you feel it coming back again even more as a returner.
And do you have any big takeaway or piece of advice for anyone looking to come and intern here next summer?
Yeah, definitely make the most of it. As you know, kind of now in the end of the season, you've seen it happen. It goes by so fast. So enjoy it and just take everything you can from it. Make a lot of memories, make friends, meet people, and learn as much as you can throughout the whole process.
And Lily, we probably have some of the same fans from last summer watching right now. So is there anything you'd like to say to them?
Well, just thank you for your support last summer. You truly made it the best experience. The people, again, are what make the experience. So thank you so much for all your support. And yeah, go Kets.
Go Kets, that's right. And we'll both send it back up to you, Joe and Alex.
Thanks so much, Adele, and excellent work as always. Joined alongside by Lily Butler, who, Joe, you have a lot of common knowledge with, worked with her last year.
Yeah, I did. It's great to see Lily, who's been back around the ballpark. Not the first time we've seen her, though. I know it's game 40, and she said the season flies by, and it really does. I mean, she's been here was here for one summer a year ago, and now has been living up here for the summer of 2024, and it again has flown by. It was great to work with Lily for a great summer of 2023, also with Adele. Great to see those two's relationship continuing to develop, but also it's just been so exciting to see what Lily has in store for her future. And yeah, just great to hear from another former intern as we've been able to talk to now Lily. We were able to talk to a man that you worked with for quite some time, Jake Starr. So
Riley Pay.
That's right. Plenty of former Kettleers interns that we've been able to shine some light on. And today was Lily, someone who worked so incredibly hard for each of the 47 or now 48 games it was that she worked last summer for the Kettleers, and great to see Adele take her place as well this summer. And again, just crazy to think that we're already at game 40. Of course, it was a 44-game season the past couple of years, but down to 40 this year, and we're already at the end, but some more baseball to be played after today, at least until Tuesday.
The regular season started all the way back on June 15th. Cotuit opened their season with a 13-2 loss, looking to close it out on back-to-back wins, but they'll have some work to do, trailing 7-4 here against the Bourne Braves, as the count evened up at 1-1 to the leadoff man Tristan Becerra, who's 1 for 1 today. Worked a walk in his first at-bat, blasted a home run to lead things off in the third. It's part of a 2-run top of the third for Bourne. He's facing the new arm into the game, Brock Pear, making his second appearance as a Kettleer. His first came just a couple of days ago in a game against Hyannis, where he went an inning, didn't allow a hit, did allow a run, walked 2 batters and struck out 1 while throwing 34 pitches, as the 2-1 taken well low against the lefty Becerra. So Pear, the third arm into the game for Mike Roberts and company, as Joe Sabbath goes 2 innings, gives up 2 hits, allows 1 run, walked a batter and struck out 2 as this one hit on the ground to Naraki at second, backing up, using the backhand. His throw in time to nab Becerra as he's retired for the first time today, falling back to 1 for 2 and a crucial first out for Brock Pear.
We've seen Nolan Naraki get tested a couple of times at second base. That one there, he had to go down on the backhand as it kind of scooted on the dirt as it got there after a few hops, but saw him turn a nice double play in the 4th inning to complete that frame. Also a few more before that in the 2nd inning and in the 1st. Nice to see him settle into a new position for him.
That was a massive double play for the Kettleers, an inning-ending 4-6-3 double play. Worked by Joe Sabbath against the cleanup hitter Garrett Michelle. His count is 0-1 against Davis Gillespie. He's having a hot day so far, 2 for 2, singled in his first at-bat in the 2nd, doubled in the 3rd. Now up here in the 5th, but the count evened at 1-1. Gillespie has his batting average up to 278. 1-1, foul tipped. Count goes to 1-2, and speaking of batting average, I can't believe it took us nearly 5 innings to mention this. The 2 top hitters in the Cape Cod Baseball League, Jaron Advincula, Ethan Conrad, out in the lineup today, and both guys trying to claim the batting title. Advincula has him by just a couple of points. Jaron's batting average 392, Ethan Conrad 385. As this ball hit softly into left center field, running in is Charles Davalon, getting underneath it and hauling it in for the 2nd out.
Yeah, Advincula at 392, as you said. Ethan Conrad, 385. Both of those guys not in the starting lineup today. It's probably good to give Jaron Advincula a bit of rest. We saw him not play. It was game 2 of the season, and then he didn't play the game right before the All-Star break, and now not playing the game right before the playoffs start, so it makes sense. But he's a guy who has been the everyday man at second base, but he's giving a guy, Nolan Naraki, an opportunity today.
Seeing this Bourne team rest a lot of their top guys. Ethan Conrad not in the lineup. Braden Holcomb, another guy who's really swinging a hot bat. Braden Holcomb's batting average up to 333. Went 3 for 4 with 5 RBIs and a home run the last time these two teams played. Chase Megger's a big name that isn't in the lineup.
Yeah, Cape Cod Player of the Week last week, right?
That he was, hitting 342. Gotten off to a hot start in his first 10 games as a Bravo. 5 doubles, even a triple, 7 RBIs. It's the 1-1 pitch to Blake Barthel at the top of the strike zone, laid off. 4-2. Barthel 1 for 2 today. Singled in his first at bat in the 2nd, flew out to Charles Davalon in center field in the 3rd. Pear, the righty, working out of the windup. The long look in, kicks and deals the 2-1. This one taking a high bounce, going over Grant J. Barthel up in the count, 3-1. Chris Stanfield, another name that isn't in the Bourne lineup. Matt Klein getting a day off for Cotuit after catching yesterday in both games. as Blake Barthel extends this top of the 5th, working a walk, reaching for the second time today.
Seen Merrick Houston play a strong shortstop position for the Braves this summer as well. So yeah, they're resting up a lot of guys as they're set to make another playoff push, eyeing that 3rd straight banner. It's a team where you see a lot of depth in the outfield position, but also plenty of left-handed pitchers too. Eight of their arms out of the bullpen and in starting form as well are lefties. We saw one today, Kyle Lacalametto making the start, also a lefty, and Tristan Levesque making his way back here.
First pitch to Mason Neville, taken outside for ball 1. Brock Pear finishing up his 5th season at Salem State this past year. His best, where he went 5-3 with a 2.55 ERA. Is going the opposite way is Neville. On the long run is Brandon Compton. That ball will drop down. Compton cuts it off. Barthel with a lot of speed. He heads around third. He will score easily on the 2-out RBI double by Mason Neville. And Cotuit was building momentum, scoring 4 runs in the bottom of the 3rd. Bourne answers back with a run here in the 5th.
Yeah, lets that count to Blake Barthel get away, and Brock Pear giving up the double to Mason Neville. So it's more 2-out hitting against opponents that the Kettleers pitching staff just struggling to get the 3rd out of these frames, and we're seeing it more here. And these are games that you can't afford to give up runs like that. Now down 8-4, and every single run counts, every single out counts, and we're seeing why right here in the 5th.
Bourne now 8 runs on 8 hits, and 7 of the 9 batters in this order have recorded hits today. The 2 that don't, the 3 and 4 hitters in this lineup, David Lewis, Garrett Michelle. Lewis has reached a pair of times, reached on a fielder's choice, also walked. Michelle's had a tough day with a pair of strikeouts and bounced out into a 4-6-3 double play. But Neville leads off second. Pear comes home with the 1-0. This one rocketed into deep center field. Going back is Charles Davalon at the fence, leaping up, and that ball is out of here. John Schroeder does it again. His 2nd hit today, his 2nd home run today, as he leaves the yard and gives Bourne a 10-4 advantage.
Just when it seemed like the Kettleers were ready to climb their way back into this ball game, Bourne lifts them right back out of it as John Schroeder leaves the yard for the 2nd time today, taking it to the deepest part of this park. It was out of the reach of Charles Davalon and good enough for a 2-out, 2-run bomb.
That ball was crushed off the bat of John Schroeder, who's hit 2 long home runs. Schroeder now today 2 for 2, 2 runs, 6 RBIs for the 9th man in this Bourne order. So here's Isaiah Jackson, the count 0-1. Swings at a pitch low in the zone, so he falls behind 0-2. Coming up for the 4th time already. Just in the top of the 5th. Jackson 1 for 3. Singled in his first at-bat, then bounced out to Naraki at second base in the 2nd. And ended the 3rd inning with a fly ball to Charles Davalon in center. But he goes down on 3 pitches here against Brock Pear, as he falls back to 1 for 4, as Pear picks up his first strikeout today. But not before Bourne extends its lead once again, as Mason Neville tallied a RBI double, and John Schroeder clears the bases on his 2nd home run of the day. He now has 6 of the 10 runs for the Bourne Braves, as we're through 4.5 from Lowell Park. Bourne leading things 10-4, and before we take a break, we'll leave you off with another edition of Catch Trivia presented by the Cotuit Library. This former Kettleer played in the Village during the summer of 1980. After winning the CCBL's Outstanding Pro Prospect Award that season, he went on to play 13 years in the big leagues with the Mets and Athletics. The right-handed pitcher won a ring with the New York Mets in 1986. So if you know the answer to that question, drop it down in the YouTube comments. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Huddle, Hopefully you get the answer right, but we'll reveal that answer later in the broadcast. And when we come back from this commercial break, my broadcast partner, Joe Pratt, will take you the rest of the way here from Lowell Park. Each week, the Cape Cod Baseball League is honoring those who served with Red Shirt Fridays. Every home team on Fridays wear red Cape League uniforms and an Army camouflaged hat. For every Friday game at Lowell Park, the Kettleers are honoring a hero of the game presented by the Massachusetts State Lottery. For exclusive Red Shirt Friday gear like fitted player hats, head to the Kettleers store at the ballpark. We hope you can join us for a Red Shirt Friday at Lowell Park this season. For over 40 years, Vollmer & Son Construction has proudly served its community, providing a wide range of construction services, from bathroom renovations to complete home remodels. When you work with Vollmer & Son, you are being taken care of by natives of Cape Cod who support the community by
The middle of the Kettleers lineup, Charles Davalon, Nate Hall, and Luke Hansen lead off the bottom of the 5th inning as they recently fell behind in this game, now 10-4. It was 7-4 the last time they were at the plate after going 3 up, 3 down in the 4th, and Bourne responded with 3 of their own in the top half of this frame, so Cotuit continues to play catch-up in the 40th game of the season. Charles Davalon is already 1 for 2 today with an RBI double his last time up in the 3rd inning. And now an advantageous count for him as he is ahead 2-1. Facing Jackson Mitchell, who works into a 3rd inning, and now Charles Davalon thought that might have been another ball. Nearly flinged the bat, but he'll dig back in. Scoreboard was reading 2-1. It's now 3-1. Next pitch. Davalon takes a big cut, tips it into the glove of Schroeder, and this count is full. So Charles Davalon knocking his 3rd extra base hit of the summer his last time up. As that 3-2 offering is up and away, he's on his way to first. So the Kettleers, with 3 runs allowed in the top half of this inning, are able to put the leadoff man on.
That's big for Cotuit. You get Charles Davalon on first base, a guy who has a lot of speed and always likes to cause havoc on the base pass, a very active base runner dancing in between his leads. Now there's a big spot. You have the hot hitters of Nathan Hall, Luke Hansen, Timo Becerra, who have all delivered so far today.
Timeout called by Mike Hinojosa. Jackson Mitchell back in there ready to go. Righty is set. Here it comes. First pitch to Hall is tipped off the glove of John Schroeder. But it's Nathan Hall who's facing Mitchell, who works into his 4th appearance of the summer, has so far pitched in 5 innings. That was going into this game. 3 earned runs with 3 Ks, has allowed 1 homer this summer. And the 0-1 offering to Hall. 1-1 the count to him, who's 1 for 2 today and now 5 for 7 in the month of August. Just continues to swing a hot bat and placed in the middle of this lineup once more after not playing in the nightcap when Cotuit won 7-3 last night. Now he takes a big cut at that 81-mile-an-hour breaking ball, and he's down in the count 1-2. But it was a much-needed 7-3 win for the Kettleers last night in Falmouth, where 5 of their 7 runs came after the 6th inning. So that's what they're hoping for here today as the 1-2. Hall watches that one all the way in to even it up at 2-2. But this is a team that has really struggled to get hot starts into games, just as they had have against this Bourne Braves team, as they've only taken a lead to start off games once in this season series. And now this account is full to Nate Hall. But in the first 4 games of this series, Cotuit taking an early lead just 1 time. They fell behind in the initial matchup at Bourne Park, but then were able to roar back, and that was when the bullpen really stood tall and held the Braves off the board for the last 7 innings of that ball game. 3-2 to Hall. Called strike 3, they got him. It's the 2nd strikeout of the afternoon for Jackson Mitchell and the 1st out of the bottom of the 5th.
Nathan Hall worked a good at bat, ran the count full, struck out on a tough pitch, disagreed with the call, and was frustrated with himself after striking out there.
It's actually going to be the third strikeout of his outing, as that's a little numbler off the bat of Cerny. He'll just go to first and get the out there.
Tyler Cerny pinch hitting for Luke Hansen, who was 1 for 1. Reached on the hit by pitch, so another productive day for Hansen, but his day comes to a close after just 4.5 innings.
Yeah, Mike Roberts trying to get everybody involved in this game. Because for the Kettleers, when you look at it, this one doesn't really matter in terms of seeding. They have the number 2 seed locked up. It's just a matter of who they play. As Becerra turns this one around, that's going to sink into right center field. Davalon charging in from second. He will score. And it's an RBI single for Timo Becerra, who improves to 2 for 3.
Timo Becerra has been on a tear as of late. Just getting a pitch that, not trying to do too much with it, dunks it down in front of Mason Neville in right field, and a lot of speed on second base with Charles Davalon flying around the base pass and coming in for the 5th run today for Cotuit.
Now Nolan Naraki with 2 outs in the inning. Cotuit trying to do exactly what Bourne did in the top half of this inning. Bring some 2-out offense to the table as Nolan Naraki backs up out of the way of strike 1. So far today is 0 for 2. He reached on an error. Also popped up in foul ground, and now the 0-1. 1-1 to Naraki, who spent last summer playing for the Martha's Vineyard Sharks and is getting his first start at second base for the Kettleers. Playing in just 1 game at second base in the last season or so. Played 1 there on the Vineyard a year ago in the NECBL, as that 1-1 offering misses low and away. Throw down to second from Schroeder. In time, they got Timo Becerra. He was trying to steal the second base bag with 2 gone in this 5th frame, but winds up being the 3rd out of the bottom of the 5th inning. But the Kettleers are able to get 1 back on the RBI single from Timo Becerra, but they still trail by 5 as we go to the top of the 6th here on the Kettleers Digital Network.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
Well, weather permitting, we move into the 6th inning here in Game 40 of the 2024 campaign as Brock Pear returns out to the bump, as there is some rain in the forecast, but we won't truly know until it starts dumping down here, as we've seen once already this season, to bring back some memories from July 25th, where they started the game against Falmouth and they didn't complete the rest of that game until yesterday afternoon. But it's been dark clouds overhead all day at Lowell Park and some misting rain and a lot of wind overhead too, that has pushed 4 home runs out of this ballpark, 1 being last inning in the 5th. John Schroeder knocking his 2nd out of Lowell Park in his Lowell Park debut. Tristan Becerra with the other one, but it's Cam Kojal, the second man in the order, who's down 0-1. Now evens up the count at 1-1, and that one hits Mike Hinojosa. Not the first time he's been struck today. But Brock Pear now with a 1-1 count as he works into his second frame of work. Got 2 quick outs in that 5th inning, Alex, but then after that, the bats came alive for Bourne.
That they did, and it was a crucial walk worked by Blake Barthel to extend the inning. Mason Neville roped a 2-out double that scored Barthel. And, of course, the 2-run bomb, like you mentioned, from John Schroeder. And it's really been this bottom part of the order for the Bourne Braves that have had success. All the 7, 8, 9 hitters, Barthel, Neville, and Schroeder, have all reached at least 2 times.
It's been this bottom half of the lineup that's been so productive against Cotuit pitching today. Now a 2-1 count on Cam Kojal. Everybody except for Garrett Michelle has reached base in this ball game. But the bottom half of this order, from 5 through 9, each of them have reached twice. Now that one's in the zone and a 2-2 count to Cam Kojal, who has enjoyed a productive year against the Kettleers so far this summer, being another game played against the Pinstripes. He's 1 for 3 today. Make it 7 for 18 overall on the season. 2-2 from Pear is a breaking ball roped on the ground towards Naraki, who stabs it and throws in time at first to pick up the first out of this top of the 6th frame, and that's really what Brock Pear wants to do here, is get some efficient outs.
Definitely, and it's a similar start to his second inning of work. Got a 4-3 ground out to Nolan Naraki to begin the top of the 5th, and hopefully for Brock Pear's sake, he can get a couple of quick more outs and work weak contact and get the Kettleers bats up back to the dish.
Yeah, that's pretty much what he's trying to do with the 10 on that scoreboard, as that one's on the outer edge and called strike 1 to David Lewis. But we've seen Cotuit try to battle back in ball games and have great starts, not great finishes. Great finishes, but not great starts, as it's really just been the inconsistency from innings 1 through 9 in ball games that Mike Roberts has pointed out to be a struggle. But it hasn't really been a struggle offensively, is what he said. The Achilles heel of this team is the defense, and to play good baseball, as he's told Adele Huffman time and time again after these losses, pitching and defense are the key to winning ball games. 0-2. Flicked high and into foul territory. Down the right field line goes Nathan Hall, battling the trees. He reaches over the fence. Nearly goes head over tea kettle there, as it's just out of reach. And an 0-2 count on David Lewis.
Great effort by Nathan Hall in right field. Had to run a long way, crashing into the wall, nearly flipping over. Would have been a highlight reel grab for Nathan Hall. But he runs out of room, and David Lewis sees at least another pitch.
0-2 from Pear. Lewis charges this one into left field. That's a base hit. So he has his first base knock on the day, has already reached twice, and he's now 1 for 3 at the dish.
Going back to your point about defense, you've seen it in the last 4 games where the Kettleers have made an error. Even in the win last night, they still committed a fielding miscue, and they haven't committed one so far, and that's been something, like you said, Mike Roberts has continued to harp on, and it's really, and earlier in this 5-game losing streak, is
that ball gets away from Thatch. It goes up the right field line. Moving up to second is Lewis. He's thinking about 3. Throw comes in from Naraki, but he's in there with a dive. So there you go, just as we're talking about fielding. That one getting away from the pitcher, Brock Pear, goes up the line, and there's the first fielding miscue of the day for Cotuit.
It's almost like we spoke it into existence, talking about the fielding woes for the Kettleers, and Brock Pear just misfiring, and heads up base running by David Lewis got a great jump and moves up an extra 2 bases.
So Cotuit now with the corners pulled in. Middle infielders shifted to the pull side for Michelle. And he takes a big violent hack at the first pitch, comes up empty, as he is already 0 for 3 today. Has struck out twice, both swinging, and then grounded into a 4-6-3 double play to put an end to the top of the 4th inning. And as far as 3 up, 3 down innings go, only 3 batters came up to the plate in that 4th, as that one is off the glove of Thatch, but into the glove of Naraki. Nice sliding play to complete the second out, but Davis Lewis comes in and scores from third as the Braves take an 11-5 lead.
What a play by Nolan Naraki. Getting his first start at second base, making that play look easy going into a slide. The throw in time to nab Michelle for the second out, but it's still a productive at-bat for Michelle, driving in David Lewis to make it an 11-5 game.
Yeah, Michelle is now 0 for 8 against the Kettleers this summer. But now 2 RBIs. He's also walked 3 times. And now here's Tristan Becerra. He gets a hold of this one to the opposite way. Compton started in, now back, and he pulls down the third out of the top of the 6th. So the Kettleers giving up one more off of a fielding miscue as David Lewis advanced from first to third and then scored on an RBI ground out from Garrett Michelle. So the Kettleers trail by 6 as we go to the home half of the 6th. You're listening to Cotuit Baseball here on the Kettleers Digital Network.
Operating on Cape Cod since 1988, Advanced Embroidery has garnered national awards in embroidery and screen printing. They offer screenings on golf shirts, Oxford shirts, jackets, t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, and bags. Advanced Embroidery will print your company's or team's logos anywhere. Thousands of satisfied customers can attest for Advanced Embroidery's attentive customer service, tight quality control, and quick turnaround time. They're open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday on 38 Plant Road in Hyannis.
Beacon Gardens is a full-service garden center right here in Mashpee. They sell a variety of landscaping materials and seasonal produce to both consumers and landscaping professionals around the Barnstable Village. Stop by and see all Beacon Gardens has to offer at 182 West Barnstable Road in Austerville.
The Kettleers baseball clinics are well underway in the summer of 2024, offering boys and girls ages 6 through 17 with the opportunity to learn from some of the most experienced coaches and some of the top college baseball players in the country. With no prior baseball experience necessary, the camps teach kids the fundamentals of baseball, as well as good citizenship, sportsmanship, and character. With just a few weeks of camp left, time is running out. So to sign up, head over to info.collegebaseballcamps.com/CK. Again, that's info.collegebaseballcamps.com/CK. We hope to see you there.
Bottom of the 6th frame, and a new pitcher is into the game for the Bourne Braves. That puts an end to the line for Jackson Mitchell, who worked from the 3rd inning into the 5th, completed that frame after giving up a couple of runs. Not all of them were earned to him. He ends up going 3 frames, 4 hits, 3 earned runs. It turns out they actually all were earned to him, despite a couple of errors on the board for the Braves, but he also walked 1, struck out 3. That was after Lacalametto went 2 frames and gave up 2 earned. But now it's going to be Packy Bradley Cooney into the game for the Bravos, as he makes his 4th appearance this summer for Bourne, fashioning a 6.4 ERA in just over 5 innings pitched, has allowed 4 earned, walked 7, and struck out 9. So he'll face Nolan Naraki, who was batting when Timo Becerra got caught trying to steal second to put an end to the bottom of the 5th frame. So he digs back in with a clean slate and now a 1-0 count. Has reached twice on an error by the 3rd baseman and then popped out to the 3rd baseman, David Lewis. Lewis coming in to score last inning, the 11th run for the Braves, as Naraki goes back to 1-1. But Bradley Cooney headed to Alabama after transferring from Campbell University down in North Carolina, but is a local kid from Woburn, Massachusetts. 1-1, misses low and away. But in the 2024 campaign with Campbell, 25 appearances, a 2-0 record, made 6 saves, had an even 6 ERA, allowing 26 earned, and held batters to a sub-200 clip. That 2-1 offering catches the outer part of the plate. 2-2 the count to Naraki. Naraki not playing yesterday against Falmouth, also didn't play on Saturday night against Wareham. Now he reaches out over the plate, flings this one into foul territory, giving chase is Neville, and he makes the grab after losing the cap for the first out of the 6th.
Nice play by Neville, covering a lot of ground in right field. Rocky hitting that ball well, frustrated after that at bat as now he falls back to 0 for 3. And Neville covering a lot of ground in right field, hauling it in for the first out.
It's not Bradley Cooney's first stint in the Cape League. Playing for Wareham last summer, only made 2 appearances though. Allowed 5 earned in under 5 innings pitched, went 4 2/3. Walked 8 as that's really a knock against him. As this one has popped up, also into foul territory. Garrett Michelle settles under it and makes the grab for the second out.
Couldn't ask for a better start for the new arm into the game. 2 quick outs, and Grant J popping it up to Garrett Michelle as his tough day continues. Now 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts and a weak pop-up.
Well, now he'll be facing Brandon Compton at the top of this order. 1 for 3 with a 409-foot home run back in the 3rd inning. That really got the offense jump-started. But they scored a run an inning ago. That was their only run other than the run scored in the 4th. That one fouled straight back towards our broadcast booth. Brandon Compton putting an end to the couple of games where the Kettleers weren't able to leave the yard. Back on July 30th, it was the first off the bat of Advincula. As this one's turned around into center field. Jackson lets it take a bounce, and Brandon Compton has his second base hit of the day.
Brandon Compton just continuing to rake, and now newly inserted into the leadoff spot over the last few games, has found success at the top of the order, extended the inning with a 2-out single. He's another guy that's had a hot August now. 6 hits and 17 at-bats for Brandon Compton.
That's what you like to see, even despite the wins. Just need to get the bats going and spin this game in a positive way as you move into Tuesday, as it's looking like it's going to be a rematch of the first round from last year. As the Kettleers have home field advantage against the Bourne Braves for at least round 1. We'll see what happens from there, as the 0-1 offering to Tanner Thatch is off the end of his bat and into the parking lot.
Off a couple of cars that time by Tanner Thatch, and I guess the theme on Cape Cod today is runs, runs, and more runs, as they're only through 1 inning in Falmouth and Wareham, and Falmouth scored 4 to begin the inning or to begin the game, and Wareham answered back with 3 of their own.
This Wareham team that we found out on Friday night, is incredibly resilient. Coming back from being down 8-0 early on in that game, they scored 8 unanswered at the end of the ball game to go on and win it with a walk-off walk in the bottom of the 9th inning. The only walk-off we've been able to see so far this summer. Here's the 1-2 from Packy Bradley Cooney. It skips over the shoulder of John Schroeder. Brandon Compton ushers his way up into scoring position.
Now the Kettleers have a runner in scoring position for Tanner Thatch, who comes up in a big spot, still trailing by 6. And if Thatch can manage to keep this inning alive, maybe get a hit into the outfield, Compton could come around and score. And you keep chipping away. There's still a lot of innings left in this game, and you just need one to jumpstart a rally.
It's the 8th runner in scoring position today for the Kettleers. 3 of them have been left, and Tanner Thatch is trying to pick him up here. He was down 0-2, now has battled back to 2-2. Caught looking. Down goes Tanner Thatch for the 3rd out of the bottom of the 6th inning. And even after Brandon Compton is able to get into scoring position, the Kettleers are unable to pick him up. So they still trail by 6, down 11-5 as we move into the 7th inning. But before then, Adele Huffman has a game for us. What do you got for us, Adele?
Thanks, Joe and Alex. I'm going to need you two to stay on the phone because we're going to do trivia. Shane and Jimmy against the 2 of you, and Ashley's going to keep score. So you got to answer quick. First questions for Shane and Jimmy. What is the hottest pepper in the world?
Ghost.
Carolina Reaper. Incorrect. All right. Alex and Joe, what mythical creature is Scotland's national animal?
Loch Ness Monster.
Incorrect. It's a unicorn.
Come on.
All right, Jimmy, Shane, which company's slogan is, quote, "You're in good hands"?
Allstate. Yeah.
Ball stake, correct. That's one for them. Joe and Alex, what is the tiny piece at the end of a shoelace called?
Do you know it?
I don't.
I believe
Do
it's
you?
is it an inlet?
That is so close. It's an aglet.
Oh,
Incorrect. Next question. Who was the first woman pilot to fly solo across the Atlantic?
Amelia Earhart.
Correct.
Easy.
Next question. Who painted the Mona Lisa?
Leonardo da Vinci.
Correct. Next question. How
Bang.
old was Rose in the Titanic movie when she recounted her story?
Didn't watch the movie.
Incorrect. 100 years old. And our last question for each, Joe and Alex. Who was Walt Disney's favorite princess?
I feel like it's got to be Cinderella.
Has to be, right?
Correct. Cinderella. And last question for you guys. How many Star Wars movies are there, not including spin-offs like Rogue One?
9.
9, correct. Who's our winner, Ashley?
Jimmy and Shane.
Let's go, Jimmy and Shane. Sending it back up to you, Joe and Alex. Sorry about the loss.
Well, thanks, Adele. I would have liked a second chance there. Chance
would
for
too.
redemption.
What
Come
is
on.
this?
They started. They kicked off. Now we got to kick off in the second. I don't understand.
Where's our final at-bats?
Yeah, exactly.
The bottom of the ninth that's played in baseball, we didn't get our bottom of the
We
ninth.
didn't get a bottom of the ninth, and we would have
Rigged.
got it too.
Oh, easily.
Yep.
Would have easily gotten it.
I mean, that was a good effort from Shane and Jimmy. Still mad about that aglet one. So close.
There's got to be a half a point somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're going to have to take this
half
up
the
with
word.
Adele.
Yeah, we're going to need to hit the film room, talk about the family feud, and come back hopefully on Tuesday with a better version of that, because we just weren't given our shot.
No, we weren't.
Got to give us a shot.
They have to. I don't know why she didn't.
Nope. Well, maybe next time, but Jimmy and Shane take game 1 of Kettleers family feud. Of course, we're starting it on the 40th game of the summer, so it's going to be tough to count up this series. Maybe we'll get a chance to get a best of 3 in.
Hopefully, it depends on the Kettleers' success on the diamond for our success in Family Feud up here in the broadcast booth. So hopefully for both of our sakes, Cotuit continues to play well and we get our shot.
We better get it. I mean, that was a great poll on the Cinderella answer.
I thought you had it with the shoelace.
Kind of confident, somewhat confident with the answer. And I'm pretty sure I read that in Diary of a Wimpy Kid way back. Just couldn't remember from those 3rd grade days. But we move into this top of the 7th inning after taking a loss in Kettleers trivia. But we do have an actual Kettleers trivia question that those of you listening at home will have a chance to continue to answer, but we'll reveal that answer when we start off the bottom of the 7th inning. But the batter at the plate right now is Davis Gillespie, and now he sends this one on a fly to center. Charles Davalon to his left, and he makes the grab.
Nice grab by Charles Davalon out in center field as Brock Pear continuing to come out, throw strikes, and getting a weak fly ball to Davalon.
I was really expecting Kettleers trivia too.
I was too, and you know what's something I noticed? Adele, after she's done with her hits, always comes up to the broadcast booth. She's not here yet.
Nope.
Maybe she's avoiding us.
I think she is.
She knows that we're upset.
Yep.
She knows that she didn't give us our shot.
Just got to give us a shot. Give us an opportunity to battle out there, and she just didn't give us that second shot. But sometimes you're unable to. I mean, you could call it a darkness delay maybe. Doesn't really apply.
Fitting with these two teams.
That's right. That's the only game this summer that the Kettleers haven't been able to hit in the bottom of the 6th. So much similarly to our trivia just a second ago, they only played 5.5 innings in that ball game. Mikey Ebner went out to close out the game, and it was an 8-7 win for the Kettleers. And that was one at Lowell Park where it was just back and forth the whole way. Both of these teams erupting for offensive explosions, as there's one gone in this 0-2 count to Blake Barthel. But it's kind of similar to what we've seen today, just a bit more of that offensive output from one of these teams as Bourne leads it 11-5. But there's a swinging strikeout as Brock Pear picks up his second K of the outing, and there are 2 gone in the 7th.
Nice job by Brock Perry, who settled into a groove despite giving up the run last inning when David Lewis came in to score on the RBI groundout by Garrett Michelle. Has gotten 2 quick outs here and against a part of the order that has had a lot of success against this Kettleer pitching staff today.
Yeah, the bottom half of this order has erupted for a lot of those runs, as just mentioned, as it's now Mason Neville. No runners on base for him, now an 0-1 count, but Neville, a productive day at the plate other than a strikeout, has reached twice, once on an RBI double and once on a walk. Was able to drive home the 9th run of this ball game back in the 5th inning. It was a 2-out double. And then John Schroeder followed that up with his 2nd homer of the game, so you definitely don't want to see Schroeder again if you're Brock Pear. But that one misses away, and it's a 2-1 count to Mason Neville. He takes a deep breath, shakes his head once. Wants a different sign from Grant Jay. Can't seem to find it. There's 4 on the pitch clock as he goes into his windup. That one squeezes away from Jay. Did he go? And Jacob Ashworth says no. Skies continue to darken overhead at Lowell Park. Thick overcast clouds ahead, and that 3-1 offering misses upstairs, so Mason Neville advances to first, his 2nd walk of the day. And he has reached in 3 of 4 plate appearances.
Having a lot of success at the bottom of the order, like you mentioned, Joe, reaching in 3 of 4 plate appearances. He's also scored 2 runs, and this is exactly what you need. Mike Roberts talks so much about when the Kettleers are winning baseball games. 1 through 9 are thriving, and, well, they haven't gotten that from the Kettleers standpoint, but on the flip side, this Bourne lineup 1 through 9, everyone consistently getting on base.
It's another 2-out base runner for Bourne. Yeah, you're right. All but one Bourne Brave has been able to reach base today. Garrett Michelle, the 4-batter in this lineup. He's 0 for 4, but has made a difference with an RBI. As the first pitch misses to John Schroeder, who has enjoyed a good day at the plate. 2 for 2. A grand slam in the 2nd inning. Solo shot in the 5th. Excuse me, that was a 2-run homer. As he has driven in 5 runs today. Also walked in the 3rd inning. And now in 1-1 count to him.
This is the explosion game for John Schroeder, a guy who had just 4 base hits coming into today. Now that category up to 6 in that category with a pair of 2 long home runs.
Yeah, first one was 406 over the bullpen and right, but now he's down on the count 1-2.
The other one was to the deepest part of the ballpark, 397 to dead center field.
More than enough to clear that fence as the 1-2 offering. That misses up and away. John Schroeder with 6 driven in today as this one's popped up. Grant Jay trying to find it, battling the wind, and he'll make the grab just in front of that Bourne on deck circle. And he puts away the top of the 7th inning. So no runs are able to come in and score for the Braves. They still lead at 11-6 though as we go to the bottom of the 7th. It's stretch time from Lowell Park here on the Ketts Digital Network. Construction is your go-to provider for all excavation, drainage, and waterworks services. On top of that, they offer landscape filling materials such as sand, native stone, gravel, shells, and more. Serving Cape Cod and the islands for 30 years, Bortolotti Construction is committed to serving its community. Visit at 45 Industry Road in Marston's Mills or call 508-771-9399.
Coastal Rentals is the place to go for professional landscape and construction equipment. Whether you need tools and equipment for commercial use or for your own projects, Coastal Rentals has what you need. Purchasing gear is also available. Check out Coastal Rentals today.
Cotuit Library. Since its founding in 1874, the Cotuit Library has served its community with an expansive collection that continues to grow. Their staff is dedicated to serving all ages, offering youth events weekly. The library has dozens of events scheduled throughout the summer, so be sure to head to the website at cotuitlibrary.org to see what's coming up next. The library is located right off Main Street. The Cotuit Library, a proud sponsor of the Kettleers.
Be a part of historic Lowell Park and support the Cotuit Kettleers by purchasing a paver engraved with your personal message to be placed in the new Walk of Champions. For more information, visit the Cotuit Kettleers website.
Bortolotti Construction is your go-to provider for all excavation, drainage, and waterworks services. On top of that, they offer landscape filling materials such as sand, native stone, gravel, shells, and more. Serving Cape Cod and the islands for 30 years, Bortolotti Construction is committed to serving its community. Visit at 45 Industry Road in Marston's Mills or call 508-771-9399.
Coastal Rentals.
And he won the CCBL's Outstanding Pro Prospect Award that season. He went on to play 13 years in the big leagues, most of them with the Mets, where he started off his career before finishing up in Oakland with the Athletics, and this right-handed pitcher was able to get a World Series ring in 1986 when the Mets famously took down the Red Sox in that series. But he has gone on to have a pretty cool career after baseball, working on TV for the New York Mets, and I'll go ahead and reveal this answer to you in just a few seconds as Scott Landers is talking things over with Mike Hinojosa right now, just in front of the on-deck circle there, and likely asking about how long we're going to play in this game. It's currently 7:07 p.m. local time, but with thick overcast clouds ahead, it doesn't really matter that the sun doesn't set until right around after 8 p.m., right around 8 p.m. at this time of year, but that's why we start at 4:30, but when there's clouds overhead, we can really tell that games can get cut short because of that. First pitch from Bradley Cooney is down in the zone. So once again, brought to you by the Cotuit Library, former Kettleer playing in 1980. Outstanding pro prospect that year and went on to win a ring for the Mets. Answer, Ron Darling. 1-0. 2-0 to Taylor. But not a lot of people know that Ron Darling played up here in Cotuit. Of course, when you talk about guys who were playing here in the early 80s and the late 70s, a lot of these names might surprise you, but this has been a major league pipeline for a really long time. Doesn't matter if it's Mo Vaughn or even Lou Lamoriello, the general manager for the New York Islanders. I know you like that one, but that one tipped into the glove of John Schroeder. It's a 2-1 count to Devin Taylor. But a big thank you to the Cotuit Library for sponsoring Kettleers Trivia each and every home game. Taylor trying to reach for the second time today. Now a 3-1 count to him. 1 for 3 with a flyout, swinging strikeout, and a single in the third inning. Also came around to score a run. And he's facing Packy Bradley Cooney for the first time, the 3-1 offering. Taylor rockets this one to deep right field. Neville chasing back, retreating to the fence, and he makes the grab. First out of the 7th inning, but that one given a ride by Devin Taylor, who was looking for his 6th homer of the summer.
That ball was crushed off the bat by Devin Taylor and hit that ball a long way. Mason Neville right in front of the fence and making the long running grab for Devin Taylor, a guy who had a lot of success coming into today, especially in the month of August. 6 for 10 is 1 for 4 today, and just was a couple of feet away from launching another home run, and what a jump start of this Kettleer offense.
But instead they are left at an 11-5 deficit, and the day will be done for Packy Bradley Cooney, who faces 5 batters across the 6th and 7th frames, and with 1 gone in the bottom of the 7th, we'll take a quick break with a new pitcher coming in for the Bravos. Check back in a few minutes here on the Kettleers Digital Network.
To be seen for a minor illness or injury, Cape Cod Healthcare Urgent Care is here for you with high-quality, full-service walk-in care. ER expertise meets urgent care convenience at our 6 urgent care centers, which are staffed by board-certified ER providers and located Cape-wide from Falmouth to Orleans. Cape Cod Healthcare Urgent Care is open daily and offers a cost-saving option for everything from sprains to stitches, with timely treatment in under an hour for most patients. View online wait times at capecodhealth.org/urgent care. Cape Cod Healthcare Urgent Care. Minor emergencies, major attention.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings, they are ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we know there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. Now that's how we all win. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
It's the fourth arm used by Scott Landers today in the 40th game of the summer. Cam Nelson gets his second appearance for the Bourne Braves this summer after appearing against Falmouth this week. Went 1 inning. Didn't allow any hits, 2 earned runs though after walking a pair of batters and striking out 1. So he works into his second inning of work this summer, starting off against Charles Davalon with 1 gone in the 7th. First pitch. In the righty box, 1-0. Cam Nelson, a rising sophomore at Wake Forest. He's out of Baltimore, Maryland. A two-way player at Wake Forest. Hit 163 with 18 driven in this summer, or this season actually, the springtime at Wake Forest, and then as a pitcher threw in 5 2/3 innings, 4 hits, 8 earned runs with 8 walks. Also 10 strikeouts though. Now the 1-1 to Davalon. He swings and misses at that one. It goes off the glove of Schroeder. 1-2 count to the lefty, who roped one to the right field corner back in the 3rd inning. Scored a run and then came around to score on a wild pitch. Charles Davalon doing a job in the middle of this Cotuit lineup. Next one from Nelson. That one misses outside.
These are big at-bats for Charles Davalon, who was in a little bit of a tough stretch, was 0 for 7 before the 2 games yesterday against Falmouth and tallied a couple of base hits.
2-2. Lunges over the plate, flicks that one high into foul territory, and the third baseman Lewis makes the grab. 2 gone.
It's just been a lot of weak contact for the Kettleers despite the long fly ball of Devin Taylor. Outside of that, you have to give credit to this Bourne pitching staff and the bullpen arms that have come in, really shut the door after Jackson Mitchell, Backy Bradley Cooney, and now hopefully for their sake, Cam Nelson.
That was a pair of 3-inning efforts by LaCalametto. Mitchell as well. Bradley Cooney going an inning and a third. He gave up a hit, struck out 1. And now Nelson starts off Nathan Hall with a strike. Hall's 1 for 3, 0 for 2 after starting off the day with a single in the 2nd inning. Now the 0-1 from Nelson. He turns that breaking ball down in the dirt. 1-1 the count to Hall. So Scott Landers is able to get some more arms into this game. As mentioned before, 8 lefties in this Bourne pitching rotation, and it's really similar to what we saw last summer. So many strike-throwing lefties in the back of that bullpen that was able to eat them so many innings and not put on a lot of free runners. As that's sent on a 2-hopper towards short, Kojal in time at first to get Hall. So it's a 3-up, 3-down 7th inning with the pitching change, and the Kettleers are still down by 6 as we move into the 8th here on the Kettleers Digital Network.
The O'Rourke family has been catering Cape Cod clam bakes, making your events delicious and memorable. Founded by Jake O'Rourke, Jake's Clam Bakes has become a beloved tradition, now carried on by his son, Dan. Choose from our menu options, and on the day of your clam bake, their crew will come to your site and steam a fresh, mouth-watering clam bake just for you. It's that easy. Call us at 833-252-6285 or visit our new takeout location at Building 6 on 3821 Route 28 in Marston's Mills. Email us at dan@jakesclambakes.com with your event details, number of guests, date, time, location, and any special requests like a raw bar, homemade desserts, or kids menu. Not catering? Try their takeout menu featuring lobster rolls, smash burgers, salads, sandwiches, and a smoothie bar. Jake's Clam Bakes, making Cape Cod gatherings unforgettable.
With 30-plus years of personal injury litigation and insurance negotiation experience, Snow Law Firm is your go-to for wrongful injuries and rightful compensation. Snow Law Firm will secure the maximum amount of compensation available through settlement or trial. Schedule a free case evaluation by calling 508-477-7100.
Since treasure of nearly 70,000 books at the Isaiah Thomas bookstore right here in Cotuit. Founded in 1969 and relocated to a restored 1860s Crocker family house in 1990. Their shop is a haven for book lovers of any age.
Cape Cod Healthcare Urgent Care is here for you with high-quality, full-service walk-in care. ER expertise meets urgent care convenience at our 6 urgent care centers, which are staffed by board-certified ER providers and located Cape-wide from Falmouth to Orleans. Cape Cod Healthcare Urgent Care is open daily and offers a cost-saving option for everything from sprains to stitches, with timely treatment in under an hour for most patients. View online wait times at capecodhealth.org/urgent care. Cape Cod Healthcare Urgent Care. Minor emergencies, major attention.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings. They're ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we know there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. Now that's how we all win. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
So before the top of the 8th inning started, Mike Roberts and Scott Landers and the entire umpiring crew here were chatting things up around home plate, discussing how much longer they'll play into this ball game. Mike Roberts was lobbying for more baseball. Scott Landers was calm and cool as always. But he's able to win that battle, and the Kettleers are out there to start off this top of the 8th inning. Who knows if we're really going to be able to get the bottom half of this inning in, Alex, but always good to get some new guys reps and another new man into the game, the 46th pitcher used by Cotuit this summer, Bryce McKnight.
That it is, and definitely always good to see more arms go, and McKnight making his Kettleer debut, just like you mentioned. Saw Joe Sabbath do it a couple of innings ago, and smart move from Mike Roberts, continuing to get new arms into the game and see what you have, as this is an ever-changing bullpen. There's a big opportunity for Bryce McKnight, although the game hasn't fared in the way that the Cotuit Kettleers have really wanted to. There's an opportunity for McKnight to eat up an inning and show Mike Roberts and company what he has to offer.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard from Mike Roberts throughout this season that a lot of guys who are making their debuts, it's the first time that he actually has seen them pitch. Wonder if that's the case here with Bryce McKnight, who gets a big swing and miss on Isaiah Jackson to start off this inning. Jackson, after roping a single to start off this ball game, is 0 for 3. Fly out, ground out, and a strikeout swinging. Time called from the home plate ump. Jaron Advincula was grabbing a baseball deep down the left field line. He returns to the dugout, as it appears that he is well in line to take the batting title this summer for the Kettleers. Batting at a .392 clip, leading the entire CCBL for this entire season. And it looks like he's going to beat out Ethan Conrad, who didn't get the start today, but going into the game, he would have needed Advincula to either enter into this ball game and not get any hits, go 0 for 1, 0 for 2, as that one's a called strike 3 to start off Bryce McKnight's Cotuit career, as he gets Isaiah Jackson looking. Back-to-back strikeouts for him. And there's one gone in the 8th.
It's a big strikeout for Bryce McKnight, but going back to Jaron Advincula, well deserving of the batting title. We've talked about it all year long, the success that he's had at the dish. And 38 games played, and 19 of them he had multi-hits in.
Just incredible to see as that one's laced straight back towards us. 0-1 count to Cam Kogel.
Capped off his regular season with a bang last night in Falmouth. Went 4 for 4, had an RBI, also scored 2 runs, 7 for 9 in his last 2 regular season games.
Just outstanding stuff from Jaron Advincula, who has been stellar. And one thing that will definitely go overlooked in winning that batting title is the great second base position that he's played for Cotuit. Still no errors this summer, as that's a big swing and miss, and Cam Kogel is behind in the count 1-2.
It's crazy just to look at the success that he's had month by month. Hit 447 in the month of June in 12 games, July 342 in 23 games, and even in August, although it's a small sample size, just 3 games, hit 538 with 7 for 13.
That's unreal, too. Even when the offense was silenced during that stretch of the season, his bat was still hot. Now the 2-2 from McKnight gets Cam Kogel to spear at it, and it's back-to-back strikeouts for McKnight.
Really good start to the Kettleer career for Bryce McKnight, and who struggled in his freshman season at Arizona, made just 4 appearances, did start a game, had a 24.3 ERA in 3 1/3 innings pitched, gave up 9 hits, 9 runs, all earned. Gave up 2 home runs, and opponents were hitting .529 against him.
First pitch is low and away to David Lewis. But Ethan Conrad going into this game, just one more thing on him, and if Jaron Advincula did not get any plate appearances today, Ethan Conrad would have had to go 2 for 2 to overtake him for first place in batting average in the entire league. But he stays on the bench, resting up for Tuesday's game, as it appears it will be a rematch of last year's first round between these two clubs. But just with game 1, single game elimination will be played right here at Lowell Park, 4 p.m. start time on Tuesday. David Lewis has a 2-1 advantage in this count. Next pitch from McKnight evens it up. But McKnight is someone who also started the summer in a different summer league, the NECBL, playing for the Ocean State Waves. 1-2 record there, had a 5.3 ERA. In just over 27 innings pitched, also walked 18 batters, struck out 20. But he has now run this count full on David Lewis. 24 collegiate strikeouts for him going into this appearance, now 26. Here's a 3-2. Lewis rockets that one over Cerny. That one's headed to the gap. Compton and Davalon give chase. Lewis is headed for second. He'll be in there standing up with 2 gone in the 8th.
Just another 2-out base hit for the Bourne Braves. That's their 11th hit today, and they've done a lot of their damage with 2 outs. They have 3 2-out RBIs out of their 11 runs that they've scored today, and David Lewis hopped on a pitch on the outside corner, turned on it, and rocketed that in the left center field alleyway. As he started off the day 0 for 2 and now has 2 hits in his last 2 at-bats.
And now here's Garrett Michelle, and if he gets a hit, every single player in the Bourne lineup will have at least 1 hit. But he takes upstairs. A returner to this Bourne roster in 2024 after playing in 41 games for the Braves a year ago. That's not even possible in today's CCBL. 1-1 is skipped in there. Great job by Jay to pick it and keep it in front. Of course, a 40-game season, as this is the 40th game of the regular season and the 5th and final meeting between these two teams. Cotuit already winning the season series 3-1, but Bourne is trying to win back-to-back games against the Kettleers. First one coming right here at Lowell Park in an 8-1 win, as Michelle is back to 2-1, spearing at that pitch and missing. He's 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts and 2 groundouts, also an RBI. Skies continue to darken at Lowell Park. 2-1 from McKnight. Up and inside, 3-1. Going into this game, it was interesting to see when tallying up the final scores from all of those games. These two teams at a 19-19 tie across those 4 games. We've played some really close ball games. 2 out of the 4 being decided by 3 or less runs, 3 out of the 4 being decided by 4. Cotuit with a 7-3 win back in June, responded 8-7 here at Lowell Park, and then a 3-1 win before the Braves took an 8-1 victory at Lowell Park. And one thing that has been consistent across each win in this series, the winning team has out-hit the other, 3-2. Michelle takes ball 4. And that holding true today with Bourne. 11 hits on the board to Cotuit's 8.
It's been a great offensive day for Bourne as they have 11 hits, have also worked 6 walks, continuing to get on base. Anytime you can have 17 guys reach base and not even 8 full innings, you're doing something right at the dish and usually come away with victories.
That's something that Bourne has just done so well these past couple weeks as Tristan Becerra takes strike 1, outscoring teams 66-27 in their last 10 games. And their last 10 have allowed under 3 runs per game. As Cotuit sitting at 5 runs on the board right now, Bourne has allowed 6+ runs in a game just once since July 20th. That's 10 games as that one runs up and inside, and he'll put another runner on base, does McKnight, as the Braves load him up with 2 gone in the 8th.
Going back with the walk of Garrett Michelle, now every player in the Bourne lineup has reached base. And on the hit by pitch of Tristan Becerra, just a ball that got away from Bryce McKnight, and it was right off the foot of Becerra. Jay looked a bit nicked up on that hit by pitch as well.
Just 2 catchers on this roster, same can be said for Bourne, so you are definitely going to want to keep them healthy as you move into the playoffs. But a good start for Bryce McKnight against Davis Gillespie, who had a phenomenal start to this game, a single and a double in the 2nd and 3rd innings, but since then has flown out to Charles Davelin twice. Now the 0-1. But Davis Gillespie putting to rest a 1-for-12 stretch against the Kettleers through the first couple games. Now up to 3-for-16, the 1-1. Right down the heart of the plate at knee height, 92 miles an hour from McKnight. And he's ahead in the count 1-2. So trying to strand 3 runners on base is Bryce McKnight in his first appearance for the Kettleers. 47th different arm to throw for Cotuit this season. Now the 1-2 to Gillespie. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So despite giving up 3 base runners, Bryce McKnight is able to strike out the side in the top of the 8th. And that will put an end to game 40 of the season as the Braves take down the Kettleers 11-5 in the season series finale. And they will head back here to Lowell Park on Tuesday to replay round 1 of the 2023 playoffs.
Should be a good one on Tuesday with Cotuit taking the series 3-2, but as of late, it's favored the Bourne Braves the last 2 times, and both of the times they've came here to Lowell Park, they've come away with massive victories. An 8-1 win on July 26, now an 11-5 victory, and 19-6 over the last 2 games. As Bourne's a team that you don't want to see in the playoffs, and now Cotuit will open up against them in round 1.
Well, they're a team that has taken such a strong record into the playoffs, as we saw 13-1-1 after the All-Star game in 2022, 12-6-0 after the All-Star game last year, and now 4-0-1 from the All-Star game going into the 2024 playoffs. This clearly isn't a team that you want to face, and Cotuit will have to do that at 4 p.m. on Tuesday.
No, and they're a team in the last 11 games that's 9-1-1, and they're a team that's fired on all cylinders. We've hit on it all broadcast long, just the offensive prowess that this team has, and up and down the lineup, they did not miss today. Even the 9-hitter, John Schroeder, had the best day out of any Bourne Brave. Went 2 for 3, 6 RBIs, hit a grand slam, hit a 2-run home run, and anytime you can get contributions from 1 through 9 in your lineup, but especially the 7, 8, 9 hitters, that's what Bourne did today. Everyone reached base in the lineup, and pretty much everyone reached base 2 or more times in the lineup, and especially that bottom 3. Blake Barthel reached twice, Mason Neville reached 3 times, John Schroeder reached 3 times, and it was a great day for the Bourne offense and a struggling day for the Kettleer pitching staff.
And how big was it for the Braves to take that 7-0 lead just through the first 3 innings?
Well, anytime you can go on the road and take it to a team 7-0, you just took the crowd out of the game. You really sucked the life out of Lowell Park, and it was just tough for the Kettleers to come back, and they made things interesting. You have to give credit to guys like Brandon Compton on the top of the order. They made the plays happen in that bottom of the third. It was a 7-4 game, but once again, the pitching woes and giving up runs with 2 outs, that proved costly for this Kettleer pitching staff, as Bourne scored 3 of their runs with 2 outs in the inning and tallied multiple 2-out base hits, but they coming back scored 3 in that top of the 5th, and it was right when John Schroeder hit that 2-run home run, making it a 10-4 game. It just really shifted the tide, and Cotuit scored a run in the bottom half of the inning, but as soon as that ball left the yard, you could just sense that the Kettleer team was dejected, and it was all Bourne from there.
Yeah, anytime that you can get a grand slam, it's huge for your offense, huge for momentum, and we've talked about that so much this season. So when you don't really have much momentum, and this game today is likely, or we know now that it's going to be a continuation of Tuesday's game. So how are you able to flip the script?
Well, it's a brand new season. You played 40 games. 8 of the 10 teams make the playoffs. You have to treat each game like it could be your last, because, well, if Cotuit or Bourne lose tomorrow, or Tuesday, it will be their last game, and got to leave everything out on the field, and it'll be interesting to see who gets the start for both of these teams. But like you mentioned, coming into today's game, 2 evenly matched teams, 19-19, and Bourne, of course, exploding for 11 runs today, so now they lead Cotuit, I guess, by 6 runs in this regular season series, and it should be a fun and interesting matchup on Tuesday.
It definitely should. A rematch of the 2023 first round where the Kettleers were knocked out in 2 games. They weren't even able to win one of those, and of course that game 1 was right here at Lowell Park. So this is a team that hasn't played well at home all season. Now a 9-11 record in the regular season at home, but to move on into the postseason, how big is it just that so many different guys were able to get looks in this last week?
It was massive, and we talked about it all broadcast long. It's nearly 50 different pitchers that have ate up innings for the Kettleers this summer, and anytime you can get reps and lead that into the playoffs, now Mike Roberts and the coaching staff, they have to go with their top guys that can get them to the next game, and expect a guy like Michael Ebner, maybe Taylor C., and guys that they really trust, Zach Duenas, Mason Davenport, all to eat up valuable innings. But those last 2 names, Taylor C., Mason Davenport, Zach Duenas, were all guys that were added in the last 2 or 3 weeks. Michael Ebner being the only pitcher that remains from the start of the season to now. And anytime you can get these guys coming in from different summer leagues or just coming off of taking a rest after their collegiate seasons, coming in, building up some innings, and leading them to success, hopefully Cotuit can ride their pitching staff and pick up a win and advance to round 2.
How hard is it, do you think, because the amount of turnover that we've seen on this roster, but it's mostly been with pitchers, how important is it for them to stay consistent, but also how difficult is it to stay consistent when you're going from summer league to summer league, likely taking a week or 2 off in between appearances?
Well, I think it's difficult to stay consistent, and another factor is you're constantly working with different catchers. As Matt Klein, Grant Jay, 2 guys that are constantly having to read scouting reports on all these different pitchers that are coming in, and it takes time. And you saw that maybe today. Aiden Hunter, a guy who only had made 2 appearances since July 18th, and a guy who split time with Matt Klein catching him, Grant Jay catching him, and it's just been tough.
What we've seen from this Bourne team when we talked to their broadcasters at the start of the season in June, where they were really struggling, and that was a part of the season where they weren't really sure if they were going to be able to play postseason baseball at the end here, because it seemed like Falmouth was heating up and all these other teams, including the Kettleers, were surpassing the Braves. But they're able to get in, they're able to get on a hot streak at the end of the season, and are set to make a splash in the Cape League playoffs for the 3rd straight summer. But for the Bourne Braves, just to have that consistency, as we've talked about with this Cotuit team, but they have been much more consistent with the turnover. How big of a benefit do you think that is for them, that they've had a lot of the same guys that were on this team when they were struggling back in June?
It's honestly everything, because they won as a team, they've lost as a team. They've gone through the highs together, they've gone through the lows together, and anytime you could play a 40-game regular season together, make those memories, make those connections, and really build team chemistry together. You're seeing a team that is playing great baseball 1 through 9. The pitching staff is getting things done. Of course, the offense showed out today with 11 runs on 11 hits, and they're playing great defense as well. Didn't really see it in the box score with 2 errors, but anytime you see the middle infield duo making a bunch of plays together and just having that consistency, and I think being as a team and going through the highs together, going through the lows together, it makes you a more well-balanced team and more battle-tested team and going into the playoffs together. And those are the type of teams that usually wins championships, and that's exactly what you've seen from Bourne the past 2 seasons.
Yeah, you have, and it looks eerily similar this season to the past couple of years where they've won back-to-back Cape League championships, and they're looking for their 4th when they start that on Tuesday night. But for the Kettleers, that's going to be a 4 p.m. start time, the earliest start time that we've had this season. We expect a lot of weather to come in this week, as we see on all the radars that there is going to be some rain, so who knows if that might change anything in terms of who's starting games, who's going to start suspended games, if that's a possibility. But when you look at the rest of this league right now, Harwich with a 15-7 lead in the bottom of the 6th inning over Brewster. So Brewster, they were in desperate need of getting a win tonight. The only opportunity for them to get into the playoffs would be for them to beat Harwich and for them, or for Orleans to lose against Chatham, but both of those things not really working in the Whitecaps' favor right now, as it looks like on the eastern side at least it will be YD facing Orleans at 1 and 4. It'll be Chatham facing Harwich at 2 and 3. And then in the West Division, since Hyannis just completed a 7-1 win over Yarmouth Dennis, they are 24-14 and 2, the winners of the West Division in the regular season, and they are set to play Wareham, who's the 4th seed. And Wareham is currently playing Falmouth right now, and that game kind of meaningless now that the Braves have won, but they are going to finish their season, whether it's 22-17 and 1 or 21-18 and 1, in the 4th spot, with Cotuit and Bourne squaring off at 2 and 3. In this 11-5 victory over the Braves today, as Mike Roberts has a long talk with his entire team just beyond the third base bag. And in a few moments, he'll be joining Adele Huffman at field level, but we'll take a quick break. Don't go anywhere on the Kettleers Digital Network.
Cod Coffee is a proud sponsor of the Cotuit Kettleers. They offer breakfast and lunch, as well as indoor and outdoor dining. Check out Cape Cod Coffee at one of their 3 locations, on Route 130, at Mashpee Commons, and at Wareham Commons, or on their website at capecodcoffee.com.
When the unexpected happens, make sure you and your assets are insured appropriately. The agents at Leonard Insurance Agency can tailor coverage to meet your needs. Call 508-428-6921 to talk to their licensed agents today.
For nearly 2 decades, Coastal Irrigation has proudly provided top-notch irrigation and landscape lighting services across Cape Cod. Starting with just a handful of customers in Cotuit, they now serve nearly all of the Cape. Upgrade your lawn care with their modern irrigation systems. No more dragging around hoses or worrying about watering while you're away. Their systems ensure your grass stays healthy and green effortlessly. Transform your home with Coastal Irrigation's landscape lighting services. Enhance your outdoor gatherings, improve safety, and boost curb appeal with their affordable, low-voltage lighting solutions. Illuminate your walkways and highlight architectural details to make your home shine. Contact Coastal Irrigation at 508-428-1529 or info@coastalirrigation.net.
Cape Cod Coffee is a proud sponsor of the Cotuit Kettleers. They offer breakfast and lunch, as well as indoor and
outdoor for professional landscape and construction equipment. Whether you need tools and equipment for commercial use or for your own projects, Coastal Rentals has what you need. Purchasing gear is also available. Check out Coastal Rentals today.
Cotuit Library. Since its founding in 1874, the Cotuit Library has served its community with an expansive collection that continues to grow. Their staff is dedicated to serving all ages, offering youth events weekly. The library has dozens of events scheduled throughout the summer, so be sure to head to the website at cotuitlibrary.org to see what's coming up next. The library is located right off Main Street. The Cotuit Library.
And we welcome you back into the Ketts Digital Network. Mike Roberts is down at field level with Adele Huffman right now after Game 40 of the regular season. What do you have for us, Adele?
Thanks, Joe and Alex. My name's Adele Huffman, down here with head coach Mike Roberts. Coach, Ebner and Thatch receiving awards earlier on in the game. How proud of them are you?
Oh, well, they're both wonderful young men. They really are. Tanner was here last year for about 3 weeks, and And of course, this is his first year with us, but both awards they received, the MVP player, MVP pitcher, they definitely deserved, and we're very happy for them. Michael also finished very high up toward the top, MVP pitcher in the league in the vote today, just barely missing winning the award as well. And then, of course, Tanner winning what I call the best guy award. Yeah, and he is the best guy, so it's a good day.
Yes, and it's obvious that Tanner is that. And, Coach, what's the focus going into the playoffs on Tuesday?
Well, it's doing the little things well. It's been a tough week. We've lost 6 out of 7, and but again, it's not the same team that was here 3 weeks ago. But you play with those that are here. I haven't had a chance to work with the pitchers very much at all, so the plan is go with the most experienced guys that we have seen on Tuesday, and that's Ebner starting the game. He's only started once this summer. And then we'll have C will be available right behind him, and he's probably right now the second most experienced pitcher that we have. And then we have 2 left-handers, Bo and Max, that we'll count on Tuesday if we need to go the left-handed route. Then I'm not sure who'll close if we get to a closed situation. So again, a little more iffy than what next year's in regards to our pitching staff. It's one and done. You go and do the best you can. I told them it's like a NCAA basketball game where North Carolina flies to UCLA and you got to play one game. And so we'll see how we do.
Coach, even through the losses, it's clear that this team is truly special. How does it feel to finish up another regular season with the Kettleers?
Well, as I told them, the first thing I said, congrats. Okay, we've been through 40 games, and we always count them up at the end is what I do. They finished in second place in the division. They have a home game for the playoffs. They've done a wonderful job. So, anytime you're up toward the top, I've always said in this league, it's so competitive. If you can finish above 500, then I think you've had a good year. And you're, maybe 4 games or something like that above 500. So I think the Kettleers have had a very good year, particularly we've had 69 players this summer. It was 73 last year. And so I think when you have that, that many, I think they've held the ship together really well.
I'd have to agree with that, Coach. And thank you, and we will see you on Tuesday.
Look forward to it. All right.
Yes. Be sure to tune in Tuesday. We have an off day tomorrow, but the first round of playoffs will be Tuesday at home. This has been Adele Huffman at Lowell Park, and we'll see you Tuesday, Cotuit family.
Thanks so much, Adele, and thank you to head coach Mike Roberts for once again joining us for the 20th time this summer. And Alex, he's talked a lot about the game on Tuesday, letting us know a lot of information about how that game is going to go. So we know that Ebner's going to come into the game and start that off for the Kettleers, and he'll roll out the best and most experienced guys, and that's really what you need at this point in the summer.
That's exactly what you need, and Mike Roberts also saying that Michael Ebner finishing near the top of the Pitcher of the Year vote, and you can see why. He has a 4-1 record with a 1.9 ERA, made 8 appearances, started the last appearance that he had in the game against Orleans, and he was good in that game. Went 4 innings, threw 70 pitches, ran into a bit of trouble, gave up 4 hits, just 1 run, only striking out 1 batter. But when Cotuit's needed outs and Mike Roberts has needed a guy to step up in big spots, it's been Michael Ebner, and you've seen that from his first outing when he went 9 up, 9 down against Orleans, and all the way to his last outing of the regular season, finishing it off against Orleans. He's just been ultra consistent, and hopefully for Ebner, he can put in another good start on Tuesday.
That's what the Kettleers are looking for, and the lone chance to advance to the West Division Final on Tuesday night. But that's going to do it for the 77th regular season of Kettleers baseball. For myself, for my broadcast partner Alex Rocco, for our entire production crew, Cam Christie and Jimmy Chantulis, and of course for our sideline reporter Adele Huffman, we appreciate you all for spending a little bit of your Sunday afternoon with us, and also this entire 2024 campaign, as it's a good one, but it's a rematch of the 2023 first round between the Braves and the Kettleers on Tuesday night. So be sure to tune in on the Kettleers Digital Network starting off at 3:45, and we'll see you in the postseason.